Welcome to the LXC.
Down in the rift again, where champions ascend. Warden league lights the night, diamond dreams burn bright. Tournament's heart beats fast, LXC is here at last. Amateurs with skill to prove, in this battle groove. Diamond red, shining pure, victory is near for sure. In the LXC,
I just beat the shit out of Warden.
Alright, it's good.
What comes that?
Infernal for me. Lucian.
Ah, okay. Oh, good ult? I'm penta. Don't you fucking dare! Come here, bitch! Where are you going?
Nico, just get it, bro.
I don't have energy. Big,
They are at that point. Anthony is also moving up. The hook is not going to land. We see that Luckify is charmed. It is a nice four-man ult. This is going to get popped by the fourth shot. Anthony is in the backline, though. He looks to find Goofy. The flash away is going to make it tough as the W does land. Funky's next to fall. There he goes. And right now, it's just Astro Smash. The Gator's going to be falling soon. He blast cones away, but it's not going to be enough. Maybe. He's stalling it a little bit, but that curtain to make sure that he falls. He's buying time. Oh my gosh, are you just going to be dodging? Okay, nope, not this time, as the ace is going to go the way of Mintgate. 5 members are going in. The ultimate is popped by Anthony. They're trying to move in, and they're moving in now. That's a good stun from the... Is on the horizon, followed up by Luckified leading the charge with that flash, getting the stun off. There's a lot of damage. Actually, I mean, the 80 carries are hitting tower like the good 80 carry and mid laner should be doing. They're calling it here. It's a GG. The mid laners, they don't need that. We're playing 80 carries now. And right now, this was a clean series and a statement win here for mid.
Hello everyone, welcome back to week 6 of the LXC. Our coverage of the Warden division tonight will feature a fight for first place in Sector 1. It's going to be Contingent Esports Black versus Dorado Gaming Kai in this best of 3. Contingent Black had their week 5 match rescheduled for yesterday, where they suffered a 0-2 loss at the hands of the Akuma Scimitars. The main carry for Contingent, jungler Sourcewalker, did have a positive KDA in both games, but that was not enough to get CEB even a single win in that match. Dorado Kai also had their week 5 match rescheduled. That was against UK and Cryptic, and it was played this past Monday. Dorado did pick up a 2-1 victory with bot laner Baywa playing APC Mel in both squads' wins for a combined KDA of 25, 7, and 13. Both squads are currently sitting towards the top of the standings at 3 and 2. That tie will be broken tonight. Here on the caster desk to take you all through it. My name is Crewman44, and I am joined by one very sexy Soulkeeper. So, how you doing tonight?
I am doing excellent, Crewman. Pretty hyped for this game. Wonderful intro as always. Big match tonight. Really big match tonight. Huge impact on the standings. Somebody's looking to ease up that kind of cluster we have at the top here of Sector 1 with so many teams at 3 and 2. And both of these teams, both looking for it, take the head-to-head. I can say with that loss to Akuma, if Contingent Black drops this and Akuma wins tonight, it does really shake up the standings. If they do win and
would.
Akuma wins, then Akuma would technically go on top because they have the head-to-head as well.
Absolutely right, Soul. Yes, so it is a really close contest for sure here in Sector 1 especially. We've been able to talk to multiple different members of the Warden League now, of these various different teams, and general consensus is that Sector 1 is a little bit stronger than the second sector here in Warden at least. So that is something that I think we can consider as well. We're going to be moving into this Game 1 draft pretty soon, Soul, and I think there's going to be some really interesting picks to look out for tonight. Are there any champs in particular or players that you are going to have a little bit of a magnifying glass on this evening?
I think this matchup between these two, it's the jungle. Sourcewalker versus Cherry. The Yi versus the Gwen. I don't expect to see either of those champions tonight. I can't imagine they get through ban phases. After that, it's really a story of the bot lane. Beiwa Mocha has been the staple of Dorado here. They have been so solid. They were so solid last split. They are the former champions. And then Quota and Panda have also been playing amazing for Contingent Black. So I think that's where the power. Both of these teams have that same sort of style: jungle pressure and these huge bot lanes that can just really rip it at any point in time.
Absolutely. It is going to be, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. Those are going to be the key matchups tonight. I was looking at those win screens from last week from those recent matchups for the side of Contingent Black, and I was noticing that Sourcewalker did actually pull out the Gwen as well. So I'm kind of curious if maybe we're going to see a pick away of the Gwen. That could be kind of interesting. I noticed that both of these junglers, Sourcewalker and Cherry, both also played at Jack's jungle last week, so that could be another pick that we need to look out for tonight. But we're getting into this draft now, guys. The wait is over. It's time to find out what these teams are going to be wanting to prioritize in the draft.
Immediate Vi to punish. Okay. Not one of the two junglers we were expecting, or at least not from my end, but I do know that their shared champion pool is pretty large in jungle.
Yeah, like I was just saying, definitely a lot of picks that I think we do need to be looking out for. As the Master Yi getting taken away, as you already highlighted for us, Soul is going to make a whole lot of sense here. That was the last match for Contingent Black that I cast a couple of weeks ago. I believe Sourcewalker got his hands on the Master Yi and had almost 20 kills in that game, I believe. So banning that one away, it does feel pretty mandatory against this player. The Gwen ban being considered there, but going to swap it over to the Elites at the last second.
Yeah, I respect the Gwen flash and hey, we know it's still a thing, but we also play it. Leave it up for us, and we'll first pick it. I enjoy the mind game.
It feels like one of the main picks that's still up here. The Mel being the other option that I feel like both of these teams really have to consider. The Vel'Koz is going to get banned away now from the Contingent mid laner, and there goes the Gwen. So very heavy focus towards Cherry from the side of Contingent with this first ban phase.
Yeah, I have to say it's justified. Cherry is one of the huge playmakers over there and can really disrupt and tilt the lane quickly. The repeat ganks, the flash over walls, we love to see her over that mid. I don't know how many times I saw her in Draft League and last split go into Raptor camps behind the enemy mid laner, flash over or Wukong clone over and gank mid.
All right, so last ban for Dorado going to be the Ambessa. This is something that Cherry did actually also pull out last week. She was cooking a little bit with the Ambessa jungle. So just feeling like Dorado have a really high prio on that champion, and they don't want to let it go through for a potential B1 pick. So the B1 is going to, in fact, be the Varus for the side of Contingent, and that leaves open the Mel. So this is going to immediately get scooped up by Dorado, and I would have to assume that it is going into the bot lane once again here.
Yeah, I do know Baywa has played it. Alternative has also played it, so kind of a flex pick that could go wherever. I'm not sure if that's in Mocha's history to see its support, but I think it's a little stronger, either ADC or then that mid lane. So, and to go on the Mbessa, I think that's a high priority on both teams. Mbessa is just really strong right now, especially in this Elo bracket, where they have the hands to very much pilot a champion like that.
Interesting there. Dorado also going to go with the top laner on the R2. It's very early lock in there for Peels. But I feel like, you know, and you were kind of discussing already earlier on, that's kind of how this Dorado squad plays, right? Is they play with jungle pressure into bot lane, and it feels like the solo laners are really almost like role players on this squad, that they're really just show up for the team fights and have an impact there. As I said, Juani is going to come through on the other side, so this is... Ooh, I don't know about this for Sourcewalker. I mean, I feel like this team for Contingent Black kind of needs Sourcewalker to carry, right? He's kind of how they live or die, putting him on tank duty. I don't know how I feel about it, so...
Yeah, I can't say I've seen a match. I'm sure it's been in the history, like he does play the Sedge. You know, it's a Sejuani. It's not like a complex champion, but I am used to seeing him on these hyper carry jungles. You know, the Echo, the Yi, that is able to come out of that jungle, and Kled into the Orin. Aggressive.
Yeah, an aggressive, very aggressive choice. Yeah. Not sure how I feel about that pick either. It feels like it's going to be difficult for Kled to really punish the Ornn, right? Kled definitely one of those champions that kind of needs that early advantage to really be effective later on in the game. This is another one of Cherry's favorites, the Lilia. Probably going to be the option here.
Yeah, I like the Lilia pick here, and I don't really like the matchup early for Kled into Ornn, because Ornn has so much damage early. Kled is very susceptible to die, and now seeing a Lilia come in, that can make the top lane pretty vulnerable with all of Lilia's speed. Kled's not really able to get out of that, even with that gunshot blast.
Yeah. You're thinking of Contingent Black there.
Right.
But, you know, the Lilia is not necessarily known as a potent early ganker, so at least there is that. You know, maybe the Kled can at least have a comfortable early laning phase, but we'll see what Cherry does decide to prioritize. One concern that I have for this Dorado draft so far is they're very, very light on physical damage. They, in fact, don't have any yet at all, so... that is definitely something they're going to need to grab for themselves here in the second phase, especially when you already see the Sejuani face up on the other side, right? You need to make sure your damage profiles are going to be nice and balanced.
Yeah, I imagine we're probably going to see that more heavy AD coming out of the bot lane here with Baywa. He plays a lot of the big heavy AD champions. That pretty much everything is in his pool. From what I've seen, I know the Zaya's there. The Zaya Rakan is a huge combo that Baywa and Moga like to run. It's hard to say what he likes into the Varus with that type of champion pool.
I do believe we also saw the AD mid laner come out. It was the Zed, yeah, for Alternative that he played earlier this week. I was like 12-1 on the Zed in that match against UK and Cryptic. So good heads-up ban there, I think, from Contingent. I'm still expecting this Mel to go into the bot lane, but maybe you're right. Maybe at this point, maybe they have to put it mid to get that AD threat for Baywa.
Yeah, it does seem like Contingent Black went ahead and agreed with you on that and just started heavily banning out, the AD mids. Yas gone, Zed gone. So it looks like they do want to force it mid.
Yeah, the Leona is going to come through for the side of Dorado. So pretty solid support, relatively high prio these days since they hit that slight nerf to cleanse a little while ago. Really does feel like Leona has come back with a vengeance.
Yeah, it's a lot of engage. Lot of engage coming out for Dorado.
Yeah, a lot of nice ways to set up the Lilia to find those big sleeps, right? So it definitely feels like their composition is coming together pretty nicely. Just need to see that AD threat now to round things out.
That's a Yuumi.
Ferris. Yeah. Wow.
I have not seen Yuumi played, I don't think, in the entirety of the LXC. Now I'm excited. I'm a Yuumi lover.
Watch Yuumi.
I
really?
I do enjoy Yuumi.
How? Why? What does it mean? Please try to explain yourself.
So pre-nerf, I abused Yumi very hard before most recent changes where they took away her heal, which is now her passive. I enjoyed the Q mechanics and running her that pure AP burn build, and became a very big fan of it. Where even if your ADC was doing badly, you could jump on the jungle, the top, or the mid, and just carry with them. Like it had that ability. It's a little harder to do now. I find the Yumi gameplay as a nice mental back and forth.
Okay. Okay, well, this is very interesting. We have the only two Yumi enjoyers in all of North America in the same custom lobby. So, be very cool to hear your insights on that, Soul. But we do have the last couple of picks coming in here. It's going to be the Swain for Contingent to round things out in the mid lane, and the Cork is going to come through for Dorado. So, holding that flex still, we could see the Mel or the Corky go into either the mid or the bot lanes, respectively.
Yeah, I can respect the double flex pick, and I'm not sure. They really get to decide where they want, who they want that matchup into Swain, be it the Mel or the Corky. And I don't know which one works better.
I'm not sure either. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to pressure Swain early. I feel like, you know, both Mel and Corky probably have a little bit of a range advantage, maybe more so than Mel. And I feel like that might be a little bit more of a comfortable matchup, or you can just kind of scale up against the Swain and have a pretty comfortable laning phase there. But again, you know, Baywa performed so phenomenally well on the Mel. Well, on the Mel. Ha. I have to remember that one. Last week. So wouldn't be too surprised to see it go there if they just feel like Baywa is perhaps the stronger Mel player. But you were seeing that we've seen alternative on it this season already as well. So could definitely go either way. It'd be interesting to see what they decide to go for.
Yeah, I think if it was me, I actually like Mel bot lane here simply because of the Yumi pick. The Yumi makes Varus very susceptible to CC. You're only focusing CC on one target. Yeah. So Leona, Mel, that's a lot of root, that's a lot of stun. That becomes a very high kill lane, where Corky doesn't really have that additional pressure to lock somebody down like Mel can.
That is very true, but Corky does have more damage in the early game than Mel, so I hear you. You know, he isn't able to offer more CC, but I feel like Leona has plenty of CC, so if you're going for the kill lane, I feel like that's Corky. I feel like you want Corky with the Leona. I don't know. I hear you on the CC, though, particularly against Yumi specifically, right? If you do ever catch the Yumi when she's not actually on the Varus,
yes,
that can also be really good. It's really bizarre, honestly, that Contingent picked the Yumi into Leona. I feel like Leona is one of the best answers into Yumi, because you can come out with that CC from the Solar Flare so quickly, right? If the Yumi isn't in range to jump back onto her host in that moment, then Leona is one of the best champions of the game for actually punishing the kitty cat. So a little bit surprised that that's something that Contingent opted into. But
I completely agree. As much as I like the Yumi, I hate this matchup for Yumi. This is very punishing, and it does look like, I called that correctly, Dorado is going to run that Mel bot lane with that Leona. And I think it works best just because it's a Yumi. If it was any other support, I 100% say run the Corky bot lane. But being that it's Yumi and you get to just focus this Varus, I think Varus is going to have a very, very rough time in this bot lane.
All right. Yeah, it'll definitely be fun to track. The top lane we've already discussed a little bit. Kled obviously wants to find that early advantage. Probably going to be pretty difficult into the Ornn. We can discuss Swain Corky now a bit. So this is, you know, again, Corky is he's not like that much of a lane bully early game, but he definitely, I think, has a little bit more threat than the Swain, but he also doesn't have that gank setup that Swain does have. Are you expecting anything interesting to be happening early on in this matchup in the mid lane?
I think it's actually a lot harder to gank that Corky than it would have been the Mel, just because of the Valkyrie. If he wants to sit back and just poke, it's got the better wave clear over the Swain, in my opinion. With the Gatling gun, it's going to be hard. Like, he's going to have to... Sourcewalker is really going to have to land that ult out of darkness. You know, that fog of war from places Corky's not expecting that to come from, or he's just going to get valked away.
Yeah, absolutely right.
It's going to be tough.
Should be pretty tough to gank alternative, I think. I'd have to agree. And Corky and Lilia, I mean, they might honestly even win that 2v2. Especially, I mean, once Lilia gets her first item, I think they definitely do.
That is a lot of damage in that 2v2. Sedge is nice for the CC, but you can only CC one of them, and either one of them's dealing a lot of damage.
Yeah. It feels like the side of Dorado have got a lot of really nice matchups here. You know, they were able to pick the Lilia into the Sejuani. They were able to choose their matchup for mid and bot lane as well. The only place that it feels like the side of Contingent really got their choice of matchup is in the top lane with that Kled into the Ornn. So I think it's a lot of pressure on Fish of Man to actually, you know, utilize that draft resource and try to create a point of power on the map for Contingent. Otherwise, I mean, this really strong scaling draft for Dorado, I think, is going to be feeling great moving into the mid game if they're not really far behind. But overall, Soulkeeper, how are we feeling about these drafts? Are you feeling, you know, decisively at all one way or the other in terms of who won this drafting phase?
I think Dorado wins this draft. It's a lot easier comp to operate. You have so much more power, especially in the scaling. If played perfectly, Contingent Black can take this, but it's a much harder fight. They really have to play his lanes well, and I think you're spot on. That's going to be pivotable on this Kled. They have to win top lane pretty hard against Ornn.
Yeah. And, you know, top laner for Dorado has definitely been a rock. Feels, I believe, the top laner there has been pretty reliable for them all season. So we'll see if Fishman is going to be able to find that advantage. We got Source Walker on a tank this game. We've got Varus Yumi bot lane. We've got Baywa on the Mel again. It's going to be a fun one, guys. We're headed into a short break on the other side, game number 1.
What's on your mind? Can I read it from your eyes? Can we leave and make the time stand still? What if we stay? Pretend there's nothing else. What if we stay? I want you to know I can never from your eyes? Can we leave and make the time stand still? What if we stay here, pretend there's nothing else? What's on your mind? Can I read it from your eyes? Can we leave and make the time stand still? What if we stay here, pretend there's nothing else?
All right, everybody, welcome on to Summoner's Rift, our first game of the night. Contingent Esports Black on the blue side, Dorado Esports Kai, or Dorado Gaming Kai, the name there. On the red, start this one off. Looking like nothing much at level 1, so...
Yeah, pretty standard 5-point with, well, 5-point with a Yumi. I guess that makes it a 4-point. It does leave you a bit open.
I would, 4.5 point.
4.5.
Something like that.
Yeah, I was surprised they're not going for that ward. Maybe we'll see Leona kind of sneak in there to drop that red ward.
Yeah, Panda will have to be careful here to not get disconnected, right? Because Yumi can be AFK detected sometimes here in the early game. So Panda's going to need to make sure that we're not getting
Hey, I called it.
Kicked out of the game.
Mocha the ward. Oh, maybe we were just checking in the bush. There we go. Okay.
There's the ward. Okay, fantastic.
All right. I thought I was crazy for a moment. She was just checking the bush. I like that play.
We did have another ward placed actually by the side of Dorado. Did the first ward get cleared out?
I saw a ward get placed down here bottom.
Trinkets on cooldown. Ah, there it is.
Here in the bush.
Yeah, it's been discovered. The other ward. As yeah, with a Yumi, when you're playing against the Yumi, right, you really want to try to punish the Yumi early, if at all possible, right? Would you say that Yumi is more of a scaling champion? Yes.
Yeah, she scales a little better. She's kind of weak early, so you get the punish early on a Yumi is always good. Looks like we had a short disconnect, and then Epitome immediately reconnected, so that's good.
Yeah, it does seem to be back now, so everything's fine here. We did actually see in the client chat before we got into the game that Epitome was having some connection issues.
Yeah, did have a couple ping issues, spot on.
And I pause here. But something else I wanted to mention before we really get too much into the thick of things, Soul, is the fact that we did have Cherry on in the Top Hat Lounge this past weekend. So she was able to share some of her thoughts heading into this matchup, and she did have some choice words about Sourcewalker. She said that Sourcewalker was, quote, not good, end quote. So
yeah.
We'll see if she's going to be able to back that up.
Cherry always brings the spice to the podcast and her views. It's a big tall order for Sourcewalker, of course. You know, this is the defending champions, at least, and Sourcewalker has been a rock this whole split. He's performed very well.
Yeah, definitely the star of this team at the very least. Has been really carrying in a lot of their wins. We are going to feign a little bit of an engage in the bottom lane here. Kawota goes down to about 50%. So the power of the Leona, able to get that lockdown onto the Varus does.
Yeah, we did get to see that that EQ combo from Leona with the lockup from the Mel follow-up. Just a bunch of extra damage there. Alright, looks like we may have lost crew for a moment.
Yeah, I'm going to have to close your Discord stream, unfortunately. My computer simply can't handle it, it seems.
Not
Am I back now?
Problem? Yes, you are back.
Okay. Yeah. Just, the old rig is, we've had it for some time now, you know? And it's just, can't always do everything that I wish it could do. But totally fine. At least I can keep watching the game. So hopefully I'm not just talking about something that's not on the stream at all. Hopefully that doesn't happen too much, but we make it work.
Nah, quite alright. You're in good spot. We did see like some of this damage is coming out here from this Orin, kind of what I had thought about. Orin really controlling this lane early with this damage. So kind of that health advantage does have the CS advantage as well. Looks
Yeah.
like across the board it's not
Okay.
much.
There's the remount for Fish of Man, being able to pull Peels back. Here comes Sourcewalker. He's going to get the flash out from Peels. The Frostbite is there. The first blood will follow. Sourcewalker picks it up.
What a great gank and setup from Sourcewalker and Fish there.
Another engage for Mocha in the bot lane. Kawota ignited. Doesn't have the cleanse. Doesn't have an HP bar either. Burns the flash there. Still goes down. Baywa answering back. 1 kill apiece now on the board.
That burst damage coming out of Mel with that execute was a little disgusting. They did that trade earlier to drop him at that 50%. And next engage, he's down.
He sure is. And I think I may have asserted during our draft discussion that Corky Leona is the better kill lane. I would like to rescind that statement.
That's what really scared me about them. I'm like, any other matchup other than the Yuumi, and I think it's good. Just Yuumi doesn't offer that second body protection to threaten a Leona. You know, at least when you're going up against Leona, you have, all right, you jump on my ADC, I jump on your ADC. Yuumi isn't jumping on anyone.
That's right. Yeah, she is just existing. As Epitome is trying to exist here in the mid lane, is going to be able to continue to do so for now at least. Does actually have a cat, for the time being at least. So that's going to feel all right for the Swain. We've got these grubs have been started up by Sourcewalker, but the Lilia moving in. Only level 5, though, for Cherry. She doesn't have access to the Lullaby yet. Epitome surviving for so long with the Demonic Ascension is going to be able to take down the Lilia, but the Swain immediately answered back. A double knock-up, very nice from Peels, but Mocha has to flash away to stay alive. Alternative needs to be the one to do the damage. The Quirky flashes away, gets stunned up by the Permafrost. It's Leona going back in for the CC, and it's going to be the side of Dorado Kai winning out in the team fight. They pick up the 3-for-1.
Wow, the support's doing so much work in that fight, and it was flashy. Panda jumping on 3 different players there, trying to keep them alive. Ended up keeping Epitome alive there forever. Mocha, with classics re-engage in that early aggression.
They are flashing forward, has the ultimate, and has the execution. Oh, man. Kawota just died, just straight up died, just got flashed on and died. Baywa made it look easy.
Yeah, that is quite the lead developing now here in the spot lane, and they are not going to be able to abandon Quota and leave him in this 1v1 at all now. Mel is way too far ahead.
Turret played as well. That's already over a 1,000 gold lead individually in that matchup, 7.5 minutes into the game. That is wild. Sourcewalker is going to be able to secure all of these Void Grubs up on the top side, so that is at least the first neutral objective going the way of Contingent. See if Cherry's going to be able to answer back here. Still at least 1 camp, is exactly 1 camp away from level 6 on the Lilia right now.
Yeah, and in that mass engagement we did have, I believe it's Feats of Warfare for the 3 kills going over to Dorado.
True, yeah.
But they were too low to take the grubs, so the 3 grubs ended up going back over to Sourcewalker, who originally wanted them.
Yeah. And Cherry was the one member who died in that fight, right? So not having the smite meant that, as you say, they weren't really able to go for the objective afterwards. But at least they did get that feat, like you also pointed out. So in a relatively good spot still are Dorado, not to mention the bottom lane, as we already discussed.
Yeah, the bottom lane's pretty scary right now. Very close for that Leandri's here to come out for Baywa.
Oh, wow, yeah. So early. Oh,
Yeah,
that's the
there's
Zenith
no
Blade
engage.
connecting. There's the root for the follow-up. There's the power of this lane. As you called out, Shield of Daybreak gonna be back in a second here. Source Walker is here, though, to defend the bot lane. Baywa, though, with the execution, gonna be able to get that kill onto the Varus. Will then be traded back, but that's the Sejuani picking up the shutdown. Mocha looking set to drop as well. The Winter's Wrath is gonna secure the double for Source Walker, but Cherry able to trade it back as she takes down the Sejuani. Nevermove gonna be able to pull back into Lilia. Cherry trying to prance away from this one, misses the Swirl Seed. Yumi going back in with a sliver of a health bar, but Epitome has the health he needs. Oh, I take it back. It was so close there, but not able to get those low health members of Dorado down, and that's going to be 2 more kills for Dorado. They come out massively ahead in the fight once again, 3 for 1.
That was so close. Panda doing so much work on that Yumi with the ult. Somehow managed to get back on Swain with about 10 hit points on the Yumi bar to get that ult across. And Cherry dances out perfectly and they all survive. What a fight.
It was very thin margins that time. Of course, you're focused on the Yumi play there. Fantastic.
Hey, you gotta call it out when it's good. I haven't seen good Yumi play in a very long time.
Right, fair enough. Fair enough. And, well, let's see if the Yumi's going to be able to survive this one, as we do have Mocha looking for it. He's going to be able to connect that Zenith Blade. The Varus doesn't have Cleanse. He does have Flash if Kawada wants to try and do something, but I don't think you're ever getting out of this one. And there is number 4 for Baywa, probably going to be number 5 imminently. The Kitty Cat has nowhere to go. And they do give it over to Baywa. So 5-1 now on the Mel. I called it out. Baywa played it extremely well last week and looking like another one of those performances.
Yeah, it did end up going with the Blackfire Torch rather than the Leandri's there as the first item. So pretty good power spike, and didn't even need to use the ult for that double kill. The ult is now up, and at this point, I don't know how Quota and Panda walk into this lane.
Yeah, well, it's pretty scary, that's for sure. As obviously an experience advantage for the Mel at this point as well. So yeah, I snuck it in again there. We do also have Cherry on the Dragon, which should be a very, very comfortable secure given all of the bot lane priority that she does have. So we're all going to be tied up in those neutrals, and the second round of Grubs is going to be spawning very, very soon here. So we'll have to see if Cherry's going to be able to make it up towards the top side of the map to try and contest. Would need to deny all 3 of the Grubs, prevent the buff from going over to Contingent.
It does look like that's going to happen. Mocha is already here super early. Baywa in absolutely no danger in that 1v2 down bot lane. So I'm not sure that that's really going to be a fight. Looks like they are going to give.
Yep. Resource Walker moving down towards the bottom side of the map. Doesn't have the control that he needs in these lanes to actually go for the objective. He's going to look for a counter jungle here, but there's only a Gromp. Only a lonely Gromp for the Sejuani, although perhaps a play on towards the bot lane here, as Kawada sidestepping pretty nicely to start this one off, and Baywa getting shut down quite low. The Chain of Corruption is going to miss, though, as is the Piercing Arrow. So Baywa with some fancy footwork as well, and oh, there was a couple of flashes just happened in the mid lane that maybe we don't need to talk about. Totally fine.
Yeah, Swain able to escape alternative there. Quota doing a lot of damage in return to the Baywa, even with that massive gold deficit. Yeah, ends up paying off. They may see the dive here.
They don't have a minion wave, so would probably
TP coming in from Corky.
Okay, yeah, Alternative wants to make the difference here. The Valk forward is going to be directly into a Glacial Prison. And Alternative, that's going to be the Varus flashing forward. That might have been a bit too aggressive. Baywa still holding on to the Reflect, is able to take down Kawada. And now the Kitty Cat tried to hop on a Source Walker, who does have the Arctic Retreat to get back underneath the turret. The Swirl Seed not landing. Cherry has just face-checked Epitome. Now the Swain into the Demonic Ascension, going to try to lock down this Lilia. Can Cherry sidestep the next Nevermove? It's about to come out. She does sidestep, and now Epitome running out of health is going to get taken down. Number 7 for Baywa. And it's the side of Dorado. Kai starting to run away with this first one.
Oh, there's so much damage coming out from Baywa here. It is absolutely insane. The movement speed on the Lilia is just too much to lock down. Great Glacial Prism from Sourcewalker, though, off that Corki TP to kind of nullify the beginning of that. But it just wasn't enough to stop it. Baywa's too far ahead.
I believe Alternative did go down there, right?
Yes.
That was the Corki's first death.
It was, yes.
But the only kill, I believe, that the side of Contingent were able to get in that fight was that one onto the Corki, and obviously multiple members on their side ended up going down once again. Kawuda does have a jungler and his kitty cat waiting in the wings here. He's going to find the Chain of Corruption this time onto Mocha. The Solar Flare does come out in response to Leon on a blinking Hellfire trying to get away. It's going to be Sourcewalker getting in there, but doesn't quite have the ultimate back just yet. The Hail of Arrows not going to get the kill as Mocha just tanks it. Just doesn't even care. Cannot be bothered.
Yeah, love to see Baywa there. Face blocking for his DC'd support. Took like 2 skill shots. I don't think that's not normal, right? Like, it's just like, oh, it's just support. We let it die. It's supposed to die for me. Baywa's a true hero.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a little bit of a brief disconnect, unfortunately, for Mocha. I was just under the impression that Mocha just wanted to soak the skill shots just to send a message. Like, even if you hit these, you can't kill me. You know?
Ah, good old
wasn't
Leona
actually the
things.
case.
Looks good, though.
It would be a very Leona move to do. Yeah, absolutely right. As we have about a minute out on the Rift Herald, about the same for the Dragon. As the upgraded boots still not quite been claimed. All of our turrets are still standing, and we're going to need one more neutral for the side of Dorado. Would be 2 neutrals for Contingent to get that monster slaying feat. But already a 4,500 gold lead for Dorado. That is pretty significant this early on. And the Kled, unfortunately, has not been able to find too much up here. I mean, Fish can go in right now. Peels is low on mana, but he's tanky enough to just walk it off. He doesn't really care about the Kled's damage. He's already has the Sunfire done, the Steel Caps. Peels is just straight chilling up there. Even has a CS lead.
Yeah, just being a rock up in this top lane. Sourcewalker wasting a little bit of time trying to get this push. But I think the biggest issue is where you have your gold here for Contingent, it's all on Sourcewalker on a Sejuani.
Yep. And that's exactly why we weren't too excited to see him on a tank, right? Because it seems like he's always the guy getting the kills on this squad, and when Sejuani has kills, it doesn't bring very much joy, unfortunately.
Alternative landed some nice rockets here. I can't imagine they look to dive Peels.
Well, they're going to completely whiff that. Glacial Person is going to Narnia. Peels does have the flash, is going to use it to get back underneath the turret. That was both ultimates off top and jungle, and Ornn is still at 50% health.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that'll work when you're tanky enough just to survive blows of flash. Still has TP and it's ult, so I don't know that the dive works.
Oh, gonna go for the Call of the Forge God here just to clear out the minion wave. Very nice. He's gonna look for the kill even as Bishop Man narrowly dodging away from that searing charge. Meanwhile, the Dragon taken on the bottom side of the map is going to secure feats for Dorado.
Peels not shy, 2v1 saying, I'll still kill you.
It's a mean weak side coming out from that DOG top laner. There's no doubt about it. Meanwhile, Cherry making a play towards the mid lane here is thinking about putting Epitome to sleep, but knows that the Swain also has the ultimate, so going to hold on to the Lilting Lullaby for now. Is going to find the double sleep. Oh, actually, it fell off Epitome, and the Lilia is going to get shut down. The Death's Hand there for Epitome is going to secure the kill, but it's Alternative immediately able to trade it back. Can he get away from the Sejuani, though? The Corki flashes away, still dies. Sourcewalker eats the turret shot, will barely survive. Meanwhile, Baywa picked up another double kill in the bot lane.
Yeah, the bot lane route continues here for Dorado. Mid lane goes better, but it all goes to Sourcewalker. Unfortunately, Sourcewalker getting stronger, but a great hook by Epitome. Did he get the cherry? Okay.
Epitome killed Cherry.
Yeah, I did see that hook landed just at the right time. It forced Cherry to take a tower shot.
Yeah. That was the difference. That's what allowed Epitome to secure that kill, but Still, I mean, and at least credit to Kawoda and Panda. I didn't really see too much of what happened in that bottom side fight, unfortunately, but the health bars on Mel and Leona were very, very low. So Kawoda and Panda were at least able to make that close, despite the massive gold deficit. But they still lost out, and obviously that first turret now going over as well. The gold deficit is even bigger. Let's see where that's at right now. Yep, that's about 3,000 gold for Baywa individually, which is just kind of nuts.
Yeah, Quota and Panda, like, they're fighting it well as well. Like, imagine if they gold wasn't so skewed.
Yeah.
This would probably be slightly different, but just it's the wallet diff at this point. But credit to them for continuing to being able to fight this and still make it close. So we do see the gold lead ballooning up to almost 5,000. It's about 4,400 right now. And Epitome, good guy alternative, realized Epitome had DC'd, goes ahead and pulls off, doesn't take the kill.
We got a lot of connection issues tonight. You can see Mocha having some issues as well with staying connected to the game. So I don't know what's going on the interwebs tonight.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Does seem to be Spectrum could be having some issues from what I'm hearing.
Okay, yeah. I feel like it often is, isn't it?
It's Spectrum. I'm not surprised. Also, my ISP. So thank you. Shout out to Spectrum. You're awful. I can't wait to replace you as soon as something else is in the area.
Yeah. Now we do. I did also want to mention. We kind of have been given some credit here to Kawoda and Panda. For making it competitive in that bot lane despite their massive disadvantage. And, Cherry also, that's something else that she mentioned actually on the Top Hat Lounge the other day, was she also was giving some credit to Kawoda and Panda, saying that she felt like the bot lane is probably the strongest part of this Contingent Black roster, and, was kind of praising their macro and the fact that they've had a lot of longevity, they've been playing for a long time. Both of those players, Kawoda and Panda, towards the bottom side. So I do think that, we kind of have to remember that as well, the fact that it's not just Sourcewalker on this team, right? There was that mention as well. So we'll have to see later on in the series for game 2. Maybe we don't draft Yuumi, sorry Soul, and then we see if that helps a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think Yuumi has a place in competitive similar to like Teemo. Fun champion to play, probably not in comp. But yeah, I am a big fan of the Baywa Mocha bot lane, but I do have to say I think the Quota Panda is probably one of the best bot lanes in Warden right now. That is a very strong duo.
Yeah.
So it's a little weird to see how hard they're being punished, but the fact that they're down this much and these kills are not like landslide. This is still a close fight.
Yeah, definitely credit to them. It's Baywa on this Mel, man. I called it out. I warned them if they were watching the intro, they would have known to get rid of the Mel. Because Baywa has just been destroying people with this pick recently.
Yeah, the bans were very heavily focused on Cherry, and Dorado has a lot more threats. There's a lot of threats you still have to worry about. I don't know that banning out Cherry is the key to beating Dorado on this.
I feel like it's just too hard to ban out jungle in general. There's just too many viable junglers. And, a lot of them kind of do similar things as well. What did they banned for Contingent? Vi, Elise, and Gwen. So, yeah, I mean, those are all picks that Cherry has played. Those are all, relatively strong meta picks, with the exception of the Gwen, who's more of a pocket pick. But, it just didn't matter, right? She still got the Lilia. And, it does, the same thing as Gwen, basically. And it's another really comfortable champion for her. So, yeah, I have to agree. I feel like the jungle focus with the bans it didn't really yield the results I think the Contingent were looking for.
Yeah, and of those bans, I think Gwen's probably the only one you absolutely have to throw down. Vi, maybe. If you're really hard-pressed and Source doesn't have a good counter to the Vi, okay. But I think Source is strong enough, he can play around that Vi, and they can draft to handle a Vi. To let this Mel go through is rough.
It's been really rough, yeah. The Mel going through has proven to be pretty disastrous for Contingent. But what I will say is I feel like the jungle focus in the bans would have made more sense if the idea was to make sure that Sourcewalker had a good jungle matchup, right? If that's what we're drafting for, because that would make a lot of sense to me. Where Sourcewalker being the main carry for this team so far this season, has really been putting in some work with those carry champions. So if you tried to save your jungle pick till later on in the draft and tried to counter whatever Cherry decides to bring out.
Yes, I agree, because I think that was B2 picked there for Sourcewalker. And
Cherry had locked anything in, so... Oh, did I cut out for...
yeah, a little bit of cutout as we see the fight up here in top lane. And perfect timing for chat, or for spectator delay to kick in. Love to see it.
Oh, that is perfect, absolutely. Peels is going to be going down here. Survived for a long time, but didn't have a turret anymore up there in the top lane, so is going to get taken down eventually. And that was... who got that kill? Was that the first kill for the Kled? No, I think Sejuani picked that one up, didn't she?
Yeah, that went over to Sourcewalker as well.
Oh, man.
Heartsteel Sejuani does take some kills. That's right. Source is now on 2 items, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, he's very tanky.
Right. When it rains, it pours.
It does. It's raining Mel skill shots in the mid lane right now. It's Cherry prancing by, saying hello. Does have a 2-level lead in the jungle, actually, does the Lilia, despite the... Oh, Glacial Prison is going to get flashed. Good reaction there from Cherry. Beiwa, though, going down pretty low, down about 50%, popping the Reflect, and there is the engage coming out from Fish of Man, but Beiwa able to flash right back underneath the turret is Mocha, who does have to be sacrificed for the side of Dorado, but Cherry going to be able to take out Kled on the back end of this fight as well. 1-for-1 so far. As the Swirl Sea does come out, that's going to be a sleep onto 2. Cherry goes in with the Watch Out Eep. The Blooming Blows is going to be enough to take down Epitome. Sourcewalker looking to trade this one back for the Lilia. Has a little bit more, too much movement speed. Sourcewalker flashes in there for the last auto attack. Secures the kill onto the enemy jungler, but Kawoda has been taken down in the meantime as well. So it's still a team fight win. Dorado 3 for 2.
Yeah, not as clean as I expected that to be. I'm not sure if there was a miscommunication. Kled did not have ult for that fight, so that the Varus ult came out a little soon, as if it was expecting the Kled ult to follow up, and everybody would have been there for that collapse faster. And I think they probably would have won that team fight if they had that. But great turnaround there from Dorado to take that, what was a 3v5 there for a moment until the rest could collapse.
Absolutely. They played it out pretty well, I think. It was a good initial flash from Cherry. It was a good flash away for Beiwa as well to stay alive in that fight. Well, Cherry obviously going down eventually, but ended up getting the Sejuani flash as well. So yeah, feels like Dorado playing it out pretty nicely. They're team fighting just a little bit better, and I feel like they have the stronger team fighting composition as well. So looking really good for them. We do have the third dragon on the map as well. It would be sole point for the side of Dorado if they can get it. Fish, meanwhile, starting up the Otacon.
Solo.
Which is pretty interesting.
In front of the face of the Orin. That's a choice.
It is a choice.
It does pull
And
all
the
Dorado
Kled is-
off Dragon.
That's true. But now they've realized that it was a bluff from the Kled, and Cherry is going to start moving back down there as we have yet another post-pause coming through.
Spectator Delay wants to hype up this possible team fight.
Sourcewalker does have the ultimate available once again, as the extremely ticky Sejuani is alongside the Kled charges forward. Peels finds the knock-up onto the enemy top laner, but the Ornn is getting chunked down low, and Kawoda takes him down on the front line. We do have the Mega Mel ultimate, does so much damage, takes down the enemy mid-jungle. Fish tries to get back in there, barely is going to be able to take down the Mel before getting dropped himself. Meanwhile, Kawoda is still alive. The Varus with the scaling Yumi carries through the team fight and completes the It's a triple kill for Kawoda and Contingent Black with signs of life.
So we touched on it a little bit, how this may be, well, at least they said possibly the best bot lane duo in Warden right now. And you really saw that in and out from Quota and Panda, just masterfully walking around that chaotic team fight. Just insanity they were able to pull off that ace.
Yeah, you know, AD carry positioning even more important as we do have Peels is teleported in here for the contest on the Dragon. Kawota, though, still has a lot of damage. Peels got to be careful here. He's going to be able to Searing Charge away. We've got another teleport coming in from Baywa, but the Dragon, I think, is going to get taken down. Source Walker in the pit now is going to be able to secure this one. And that's double teleport for Dorado. I don't know if they're going to get anything for it. They do find a knock-up onto Epitome, who goes into the ultimate, but is not going to be able to get away. So they take down the Swain. They summon up the Rift Heralds in mid lane as well. And now with the power play, the man advantage on the map, Dorado could be looking for a little bit more.
Yeah, thankfully Baron's not up for another minute. Looks like they're going to be able to establish some vision. Looks like Rift will get a charge.
Yeah,
But Otacon seems to be the call.
I think they can take this. You know, Source Walker's alive, obviously, but Epitome is not up for 15 more seconds and does not have the teleport. So they're going to be able to take this one down for the side of Dorado.
And this will be the
them.
GAs.
Yeah,
So no pedals. Oh no,
Yeah.
this is the pedals. My apologies.
Yeah, it is the pedal one. Yeah, the Voracious, the GA one, is the one who's, like, really red. And sort of infernally. So am I still cutting out a lot?
No, you are current now.
Okay, that's good.
So they are going to be able to pick up bot lane tower for the trade for that Otacon. So something there in the positive book for Contingent.
Definitely. You know, they've been able to maintain their gold deficit. So the gold lead for Dorado is no longer growing. It's sort of remained stagnant at about 4K for a while now. Source Walker going to find a Cherry on her blue buff. The Chain of Corruption there to follow up on the Glacial Prison. They just take down the enemy jungler really clean there. The nice pick for the side of Contingent. Now looking for a little bit more as the charge forward onto Mocha. The Leona going to get stunned up here and is not going to be able to get away either. So Kawota dominating now. And they're starting to close this gap. Contingent Black, it was looking pretty doomed for them just a few short minutes ago, but they're really coming back into this game, Soul.
Yeah, Quota doing a mass ton of work here. Only on 2 items with this on-hit Varus is just punishing, and he's able to clear so fast.
He sure is. Baywa having to be a little bit careful here. Has to utilize the reflect just to get away from that. Oh, but steps back up, gets hit by the arrow. The auto attack in the air. Baywa flashes away, still goes down. Kawota is godlike.
I think we are desynced just a little bit. I'm at 2610.
Oh, man, okay.
Yep, just about to hit 2620 now.
Let's see if I can catch up here. I'm at 26, 27.
Perfect. Right on par.
Okay.
Yeah, there's been a lot of hitches and slowdowns from the internet connection. I think Riot's having some issues now as well.
Yeah.
So, it's not just plaguing the players, it's now got us.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Sorry about all the technical issues, guys. But it's a pretty amazing game that we're being treated to here. Very back and forth.
Yeah, quickly on the comeback trail here, being led by Quota and Panda, and the gold lead's down to 2K.
Yeah, it's shrinking. No doubt about it. We are 3 items done now for the Varus. So powerful.
And the gold lead between ADCs is down to like 1,300 from that massive deficit.
4,000 earlier for the Mel. Now just a fraction of that.
Yeah, if Dorado's
I'm really glad that we got in there for singing Kawota's praises before the comeback actually started to materialize. Because now we look very smart.
Right.
As now the Eclid is going to charge forward. Is looking for Baywa, but the Eclid has gone very deep for this one. The Sleep is going to come out onto 2, but look at Kawota still firing. Well, the Varus may put himself in danger. He flashed forward there. He's going to get taken down. Oh, unfortunately, a tragic misposition there from Kawota does get punished, and now all 5 members still alive for Dorado. The blinking health bars as Contingent Black try to retreat without their Varus. They have no chance of winning the fight. Fish of Man is going to be forced to flash into the Raptor camp to get away from the Lilia. And, oh, man, we were singing his praises, and we ended up cursing him, so it's all our fault.
Yeah, sadly this is going to lead over to the Baron. Alternative with a great positioning there into the jungle. Quota steps up a little too far, and it looked like Dorado has learned from the past like 3 team fights that have not gone their way, where Quota was just left to free fire and not focused. And we saw on that one instantly everything was used on Quota. And the moment Quota went down, that team fight was over.
Exactly right. It is all about the Varus for the side of Contingent Black. When Kawota goes down, they're...
Looks like we...
not more careful about playing around their character. Oh, man.
Oh, you're back. You hitched out for a moment, and now you're back.
55, 56.
We're at 29. So still popping up.
Okay.
We're at 25, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And we are going to see third Drake going over here now. Well, technically fourth Drake, but third for Dorado. This Cherry's going to be able to pick that up pretty cleanly. Here at 29-25.
All right, I think I'm back. We're gonna go into the demonic ascension in the top lane. Alternative is gonna get permanently frosted, and then immediately taken down afterwards. So number 3 for Epitome.
Yep, Epitome finally be able to KS here from Sourcewalker as he tanked up the tower quite nicely. It is becoming a very tanky Sejuani. Get the health on that.
Absolutely.
That is a 40, almost 4,500 hit point Sejuani. There with that heart steal.
Interesting for Sourcewalker that he did decide to go for the support item third in the Knight's Vow. I honestly would have expected the Sejuani to just go full tank items. But going for a more supportive build here, actually, is Sourcewalker.
Yeah, I think that's a smart adaptation right now. They have to know this whole game is now going to rely on if they can keep Quota alive.
Yeah.
So absolutely everything they can do to buy him time to win these team fights.
Absolutely right. There's no doubt that is who the Knight's Vow has been put on. It's the Lord that Sourcewalker serves this game, is Kawota. So we'll see if he's going to be able to do so successfully. As the next dragon, the last one I believe was taken by Contingent, but they still have to keep in mind the ever-present threat of this Mountain Soul.
Yeah, last Drake actually went over there to Dorado. Cherry was able to pick that up.
Right. So the more recent mountain did go to Dorado, but Contingent at least able to get that one earlier.
It does help stall this game out, which is I think really what they want to do. Generally not against the scaling team, but it's been a good defensive hold. And to Turtle.
Yeah.
Get this Varus more items. Get a little more tanky on Sourcewalker, on the Sedge, to buy more time. And that's going to be finding the flanks. So much pressure on Quota here, though.
Yeah, you can see that the side of Contingent are trying to play towards the side lane. They're trying to get some value out of their Kled pick. But he's just, unfortunately, not really been able to pressure too much. Peel is not really too concerned about it. It was grouped up with the team for that take of the top lane tier 2. It looks like Fish is going to be able to... Oh, he did get the turret. Okay, so the Fish of Man able to trade back with the bot lane tier 2.
They had the TPs up, chose not to burn either teleport. Well, they have 3 teleports, didn't burn any of them.
True. Yeah, I feel like maybe they could have spared at least one teleport.
Yeah, one of them to keep the tower.
But maybe they were just worried if somebody left, then perhaps the rest of the team could have gotten engaged on during that siege of the other turret. So feeling like they wanted to play it a little bit safer, I suppose.
Yeah, it does make sense. If Peels does go down there, that's kind of your tank that's soaking all that damage. Yeah. You do have the Leona still, but losing the Orin is pretty big for a team fight.
Sourcewalker trying to force his way into this river. 90 seconds out until the next dragon. Dorado currently with the mid prio, currently with the river control. Baron is going to be spawning concurrently with the dragon. So that makes this upcoming macro decision even more difficult for Contingent Black. As Dorado would be happy, of course, with either objective. Mocha potentially getting engaged on here, but Peels moves over to do some peeling. As Baywa has to be careful on the front lines here. Does toss out the reflect, tries to flash away as well, but Fisherman is in there. But the Mel execute comes through. They take down the Swain, and all the bodies are dropping. It's Kawota is still alive, tries to flash away, but Mocha able to follow with the Zenith Blade. It's going to be the 5-for-0 ace as Dorado Kai clean up the team fight, and they're going to be able to push to end.
Yeah, Quota slightly far back for that engage. We saw a bunch of the flashes forward for them to really force that fight, which put Quota in an awkward position with Cherry sitting on the flank, and then Alternative also being able to come in from the backside there.
Yeah,
What a
absolutely
game.
right there, Soul. It was a really cool game. It was looking like it was just going to be a Dorado stomp, but, you know, the side of Contingent Black were really able to put together a couple of really nice team fights and came back into that game, I think, in a pretty big way. You know, obviously not really able to put on too much pressure in the end. They were never really at a point where they were able to start sieging the Dorado base or anything like that, but from the position that they were in, you know, just not getting completely obliterated. You know, the game lasted 34 minutes, so that's definitely a respectable amount of time that they were able to hang on. And yeah, that last fight, I think you hit the nail on the head as well with your kind of read on that last fight. Felt like the front line of the side of Contingent Black thought they had caught out Baywa, right? But Varus was just too far back. It was Kawota was not able to follow up on that engage because of the really good flank position of Cherry and Alternative that you highlighted. So
Yeah.
they were able to last for a while for Contingent Black, but when you're in that big of a deficit, it only ends up taking like one big mistake can be the end of the game, right?
Yeah, it was a really interesting team fight there at the end with how that positioning kind of worked out. But as the teams start to load in here for game 2, outside of the Mel band that we both I think want to see, what adaptations do you want to see here come out from Contingent Black?
Well, I think we need to see Sourcewalker on a carry. You know, you know, the Sejuani definitely had some good value in this game, and clearly the composition could have worked for the side of Contingent Black. You know, Kawota ended up getting extremely strong on that on-hit Varus, and he had a lot of frontline to work with, right? A lot of engage with this draft that Contingent had as well. But ultimately, you know, if Sourcewalker was on a carry when he got all those kills in the early game, I think this game looks very, very different.
Yeah, I do agree. Sourcewalker did have that massive lead. He probably could have impacted or stopped that snowball from that bot lane so hard there with Baywa. And imagine if you know, that gold lead isn't as massive coming out of lane. Some of those kills are over on quota, and maybe we're looking at a very different ending to game 1 there with how well that was played.
We'll have to wait and see. So I would like to award a game 1 POG for the side of Dorado Kai. There's obviously a Baywa topping out those damage charts at 46,500 damage in a 34-minute game, which is pretty good. We also had Cherry and Alternative. Had those really good team fights, particularly that team fight at the end, like you were highlighting for us. Was pretty good from them. And, of course, Peel's playing the mean weak side. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I do agree. Pog definitely goes over to Baywa. Just wonderful Mel play there in the bot lane. Loved the matchup. Enjoyed the pick. The positioning from Alternative and Cherry was so good pretty much the entire map. And Peels, I love that aggressiveness there in that top side. The 2v1, you got Kled low, you're like, I'm going for it. You know, just to try and grab that kill because Kled was low under his own tower. So that was, it was spicy to see. I enjoyed it.
Definitely was. Definitely was. Yeah, the side of Contingent letting the Mel through, and Baywa definitely ended up making him pay for it. So good looks there. I think we will probably be seeing that Mel ban for game number 2, as I'm just about to get into that lobby. And we don't go to break before that next draft, right? We're just going to hang out and chat still?
Yes, we can go over kind of predictions and give our thoughts, see if we can be right 2 times in a row. That'd be accurate.
I guess we were,
we kind of had that pegged for how that bot lane was going to kind of play out and look. I didn't call the massive swing back, but we did give the proper credit and respect over to Kawota and Panda for their play.
Yeah.
So I feel like we were fairly accurate.
I wanted to take a moment to appreciate you as well, Sol. You mentioned at the beginning of that previous game that you are a bit of a Yumi enjoyer. So I'm glad to see that you're also able to appreciate when Yumi does get punished. So that was good for me.
Yeah, there's nothing better than seeing Yumi or Teemo punished. Even if I like to play the Yumi, it's also fun to watch those champions just rack up some deaths. Because
I think we can definitely agree on that.
they are frustrating to play against. There's
Yeah,
nothing
it's interesting
worse.
as well. I think, clearly, like I already said, the draft from the side of Contingent Black, it definitely made sense, right? I could see what they were going for. But I feel like, we were highlighting Sourcewalker as being a really critical piece of this roster and him needing to do a good amount of the heavy lifting. But I feel like for Panda as well, right? The fact that, this veteran support player who's like has this good macro knowledge and clearly, is able to be a very strong duo alongside Kawota. The fact that we are putting that player on Yumi, I feel like maybe is not necessarily ideal just for the way that this team could and arguably should function. So I think that being different as well here for the second game would be pretty cool for me to see at least.
Yeah, I do want to see, Sourcewalker on a carry. I think that will make a ton of difference, and I do want to see Panda on something a bit more supportive to. Well, I don't know if there's anything more supportive than a Yumi. I mean,
Yeah.
it is a backpack.
More
like
something with more agency. We want Panda on
there
something
you go,
with more
agency.
I think.
Yeah, we did see the common problem with Yumis that all Yumis do suffer from is vision. It was something like 120 vision score for Mocha and about 60 over on Panda. But that's pretty normal. What you see, Yumis don't get a lot of vision because they have to constantly attach. So unless your ADC is willing to give up a whole bunch of CS, which every ADC would love to do, to go do vision, you can't have the cat wandering about in the forest alone.
Too dangerous,
Yeah, it's rough.
It's a house cat.
Right, it is a house
we don't
cat.
let the cat outside. That's just not a good idea. So, yeah, we'll see if that's going to be changed up as well. So it does look like we've got some info here in the match lounge. Is this all public information now? Should we go ahead and mention that as well?
Yes. Yes, we can go over that. We did have a comp ruling come out. We did have an eligible player, so it did wipe out, unfortunately, ID Ignites wins. So that player is currently being suspended. And then we did also have a player that went over cap, so they are also over on TDK Blue. So they are also out for the rest of the split as they're over cap. So it has changed the standings here a little bit as ID Ignites wins did get reversed. So we're now seeing some a pretty big standing shift, but
for sure. Yeah, it does mean that Dorado Kai here alongside the Akuma Scimitars are actually the only teams currently tied in that first place spot. And Contingent Black had not yet played against ID Ignite, so they did not have a result to be reversed there. So they are actually now one win behind Dorado, sitting at 3-2. So I don't know if you wanted to say as well the reason why the player who was over cap on the Death Knights did not result in the losses being taken away there, if you just wanted to clarify.
Yes, so in the LXC, the way our rules work, the captains are responsible of the opposing teams during your scouting. They review the teams and players as they go forward. And it is their job to say, hey, this player is not eligible, they didn't have their games in, they're over cap, whatnot, ranks. Once the game actually starts, it is both teams have agreed to play with all the players on the field. So those games do not change.
Yes, Team Death Knight's opponents in the previous weeks, basically, in other words, signed off on playing against a player who was in fact over cap. Maybe they just didn't realize, maybe they thought it was fine. We don't know, whatever the case may have been. That is, of course, the reason why those results for the Death Knights are going to stand. And it makes sense, right? Some people might still be a little bit confused, but the fact of the matter is there's just way too many players here in the LXC for our dear admins to be taking the time to check the ranks of every single one of them every week that they play. It just would not really work. So,
Yes, there will also be an announcement that goes over it in more detail. That'll come out here after stream for the whole details on both situations. So we will have that up in Discord.
So keep an eye out for that, guys. You know, we have a little bit of a delay here getting our game to draft. We're doing some restarts of the PCs just to try and see if that will help resolve those connection issues that we were having.
Yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and take a break where the players readjust their ISPs. I think that's a good call.
That sounds
As
good to
we,
me. So
as
let's
we get
head
into
into
that.
that break. We'll be back.
The night is young, we go, it's strong till dawn. Up all night till the morning comes, we love it so. We go, it's strong for more. Let's get it on and rave all night long. We're the party pioneers. We won't bring the fire when we go for a ride. Party pioneers. Things are going wild, 'cause we are the party pioneers. So come on, let's keep the fire burn. The night's not over, there's no return. Only love, it's all we need to know. Together we'll shine like stars in the sky. Oh, we go. Ooh, we'll join. Oh, we go. Who's in for more? We're the party pioneers. We will bring the fire when we go for a ride. Party pioneers. Things are going wild, 'cause we are the party pioneers. Party pioneers.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We are now just about ready to get into this Game 2 draft. Looks like the teams will be swapping sides. It's a loser with selection here in the LXC, right, Sol?
That is correct. So Contingent has opted to go over to the red side here for game 2.
Whereas they were on the blue side, of course, in the previous game. So that will be a little bit of a wrinkle here for this drafting phase. It'll be very interesting to see if they decide to maintain that focus towards Cherry in the bans. I feel like at the very least, you got to get the Mel ban in there, right? Especially now that you're red side. You know Dorado's just going to first pick it if you leave it open.
So with the side switch, if you're Contingent, you're doing the draft, who are you saving that counter for? Who did you specifically want this red side for?
I mean, if I'm the coach for Contingent, if I'm drafting for them on red side, I'm giving Source Walker that counter pick. That's what I would do. You know, it feels weird to you know, give your jungler counter pick, but I really feel like that's just the most important matchup between these two teams is Cherry versus Source Walker. I feel like both of these junglers do such a good job of dictating the pace of the game when they have a lead. That just has to be what you draft around, what you play for in this particular matchup. That's just my read on it.
I actually completely agree with you. I would do the exact same thing. I think Quota and Panda are good and whatever. And, you know, you're going to see those ADC and support picks. Very few teams save support for counter. So the likelihood of that becoming an issue won't be a thing. So yeah, Sourcewalker would be the one I go to as well. We do see the Mel ban.
Yeah, yeah, I think that was necessary. For Contingent, they now have to leave open either the Elise or the Gwen. And it looks like for the side of Dorado, their bans have stayed the same, which makes sense, I think.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in if you just won, don't change your bans. Especially round ones. And they leave the Gwen. They're baiting that pick. Surely that has to be a bait.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. The Yasuo ban seems a little bit out of nowhere. Maybe they just feel like there's too many AP jungles that they have to try and ban away, so they're just gonna try and target alternatives AD mid pool instead. Maybe that's the thought process.
Yeah, they did ban the Yasuo round 2.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
Aurora blind is a bold decision.
Yeah, it is a very bold decision. So now Sourcewalker's going to have the option if he would like to pick the Gwen away from Cherry. Honestly, she might not be going for it anyways because you already have the magic damage from the Aurora. So Contingent actually they're just going to go back towards the Varus. Please not Yumi. Please not Yumi. Please not Yumi. Oh, they are going to take away the Gwen. Interesting.
Yeah, spicy. We're going to see that Gwen pick over to Sourcewalker's hands, so we'll have to see if Cherry has a good answer for it. But I do like seeing the Varus re-pick up there. Quota played it so well. Yeah, put him right back on it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Definitely. You know, I believe they did pick the Varus pretty early on in the previous draft as well. Yeah, it was B1, actually, the Varus in the previous draft. So clearly this is a pick that Kawota is just really, really highly prioritizing right now. And I think we did see why. Bel'Veth! Bel'Veth is my permaban in solo queue, fun fact.
So Bel'Veth is Cherry's little pocket pick that she loves to play. We did see this a bunch in draft out of her, since that was fearless and they couldn't always keep that Bel'Veth out. So very, very experienced on this Bel'Veth.
It does seem like a Cherry kind of champion, so it does not surprise me to hear that. And it also kind of lines up with some of Cherry's other comments that she had in the lounge this past weekend, where she said something to the effect of, words don't matter, just fight people and kill them, which Bel'Veth really enjoys doing. So we'll have to see if she's going to be able to find some people to kill in this one, as the Kled is going to come through again for Contingent as well. So running back a couple elements of that last draft.
Yeah, that's probably the most Cherry comment I have heard in a while for things that Cherry has said. It's phenomenal. I love it. We are going to see Baywa on this utility pick on the Ashe, which is a little more surprising, but they are now got the hard carry sitting in jungle and mid, as I don't think that's going to be Aurora top for Peels. I see it top, but I don't think that's going to be Aurora top.
Yeah, I believe somebody played the Aurora last week for Dorado. Let's see if I can pull that up here. But you know, as far as the Ashe is concerned, I think it does definitely make sense alongside the Bel'Veth, right? A Bel'Veth, a champion that obviously wants to play extremely aggressively in the jungle, and having that extra information that you get from the hawk shot is so valuable on an aggressive jungler like this.
Look at this heavy support focus from both sides. Mocha and Panda's pools just being tarnished at this point. Braum, Seraphine, Renata, Lulu.
Yeah, really heavy support focus there, and it looks like Contingent are actually going to save their support pick for the R5. It's going to be the Scion locked in here. So Kled and Scion likely going to be the solo lanes for Contingent, although I guess Scion jungle is technically a thing as well. So I did find the Aurora from last week. That was Peels that did play it in game 1 against UK and Cryptic. Peels was 3-2 and 11 on the Aurora in that game. And that's a Garen. Take it away, Sol.
Well, there's a Garen in the game. That's something. We'll come back to the Garen in a moment. This would have to be, I would assume, Scion mid, Kled top, Gwen in the jungle. The other lane matchups to put Kled mid or Gwen top, it gets very awkward for that entire team comp to work any other way.
Could be anything, yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be Scion into Aurora. And I've never seen this
That doesn't
matchup
sound
before.
fun.
For the Scion,
I-
like, I don't think that ever goes well for Scion.
That would be my assumption as well, but also not familiar with the matchup, so maybe we'll just have to wait and see. The rail is going to get locked in for Mocha over here on Dorado, so that is going to feel pretty nice alongside the Ash. And the Melio coming out, though, on the R5. I feel like they got some pretty decent value with that support counter pick.
Yeah, I like the Melio here. It's a beautiful counter into the Rel. If they have the quick enough hands, it can completely flub the engage from Rel when she goes to charge in if you hit her with a soccer ball. It stops that play entirely. So it will also mess up a Belvath dash, which can really quickly infuriate. And it's a nice counter to the Ash. So a lot of value with the Melio.
He can also be effective against Garen's run-at-you strategy, right? The only
This is
strategy
true.
that Garen has. So that can also look pretty good. You can also cleanse the silence, which is probably not the ideal use of the cleanse, but maybe that would have to happen at some point. Yeah, so it is going to be for sure, I think, the Garen top, right? I mean, Garen mid has been a thing in the past, but I feel like the Aurora mid is much more likely. But maybe Dorado are just going to try and put the Aurora into the Scion no matter what, and just kind of flex those picks around. This draft is weird, Soul. It's very weird.
I kind of like the Garen into the Scion match. I think that is even Garen favored.
Yeah, I mean, now that you mention it, that does also feel pretty good.
And
for the side
Aurora
of
does
Dorado.
beat Kled. Did
Yeah,
they cook
yeah.
us? I think we've been cooked.
You know, we're just gonna have to wait and see. And it's just, and we know these players as well. Cherry in particular, enjoying the cooking in the jungle. You know, obviously she's gonna be playing the Belveth. I don't think that's really in question. But my point is, this team in general, Dorado Kai, are no strangers to chefing things up. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of formation they're gonna go for with this draft. But honestly, the side of Contingent, I think, is even a little bit more off the wall than what Dorado has, right? The fact that they have Kled Scion as the solo lanes is just very interesting, I guess, is the word I'm looking for.
So I guess if I look at Contingent's draft here and keep in mind what happened in Game 1, there just wasn't enough CC and PO for quota to finish off these team fights. This comp does technically solve that problem. Like, if that was the goal, this comp buys quota all the time in the world. It takes forever to kill a Scion. You have a secondary damage threat of Gwen. You have to worry about who can dive your backline. With Emilio to help peel and a Kled to engage.
Yeah, I hear you. Counterpoint, though, Soul. Do you remember how that last game ended? You probably do.
Yeah,
It was kind of a situation where our front line was diving too far ahead of our quota. And I think Scion and Kled are two champions. Kled, as we already saw,
loves to go forward.
Can easily do that. So they're going to have to be, I think, really careful this game with their positioning. If they play it out, kind of like how you were drawing it up for us there, Soul, then I hear you. You know, I think it can work. It can work pretty well, but we still have to see that.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of positioning. And the use of Aurora ult becomes very interesting. We do also see this is going to be Aurora top and Garen mid.
It is indeed. Yeah, so Peel's on the Aurora once again, as we mentioned earlier on. Did play this pick last week, or earlier this week, technically. And yeah, the Garen mid, looks like that's going to be the matchup into the Scion, which we were also just saying feels pretty good for the Garen. So if Alternative is going to be able to get that mid prio, and Cherry obviously had the opportunity to counterpick here again in the jungle matchup as well. You know, she was able to go with the Belveth into the Gwen. So that's feeling kind of scary to me for if you're a Contingent Black fan. You know, the side of Dorado Kai here got the mid jungle matchup that they wanted, and feels pretty strong.
So I'm looking at this. what lane in the world are you ganking? Like for either jungler, like
Any.
this is a nightmare to like. You gotta gank a Garen. That's always fun. Silence as he runs away.
Yeah.
Rel
well,
has the
yeah,
stun
yeah.
disengage. Melio's gonna soccer ball you. It's a Scion. Like ganking a Scion stuff in general. Kled. Like, these lanes are
Yeah.
tough. I think Peels is probably the most vulnerable thing on Aurora to gank until 6. Like,
Yeah, I hear you. Definitely some pretty slippery characters here. But I do think, at least for the side of Dorado, they've got a pretty good setup, at least in the bottom lane with the Ashe Rel, right? They should definitely, if Cherry wants to make a move down there, as we know that's how this Dorado roster likes to play, right? They try to get an advantage in the jungle and then transition that into the bottom lane. So they definitely have the tools to make that work this time around. And we know as well, for the side of Contingent, they're so reliant on Sourcewalker and Quota having good games. So I feel like that might be a little bit difficult with this draft. Yes, they do have the Melio to keep Quota safe. So I think it's going to be a lot of pressure on Panda in this game to peel for those carries for the Gwen and the Varus in particular. But overall, we've got some pretty wild drafts on our hands here. So are you leaning one way or the other this time around?
I did bet on Contingent on this one. I went with the more.
Right.
I guess it's the more wild draft to me because I'm very curious. I think the only way like Dorado really pulls this out is they're banking on Ashe landing these cross map arrows outside of her lane. So Baywa's gonna have to hit this Scion or this Kled to get that long stun for these ganks to work out. Like the damage is there, but man, this is tough. This is gonna be a
We'll
wild
see.
match.
No doubt about that. That much we know for sure, right, Soul? So it'll be a fun one. Sourcewalker picking away the Gwen from Cherry. We'll have to see if Cherry has the answer in this Bel'Veth. Another short break, guys, and we'll be on to the Rift for game number 2. Alrighty, folks. Welcome back to the Rift. Game number 2 between Contingent, Esports, Black, and Dorado Gaming. Kai, Dorado able to take that first game in what looked like it was going to be a stomp. It didn't really end up being the case, but they were still able to close things out pretty decisively in the end. And now Contingent have really gone for something a little bit wacky here. They're on the red side this time around. This is Dorado moving in as 5 into the Tri-Brush. Fish going to spot him out, and the Kled going to be able to casually stroll away.
Yeah, it does pick the correct direction. We do see the counter wards immediately coming out. They're on both sides of the jungle.
A lot of wards getting placed here at level 1 for Contingent especially. They put down 3 of their wards. For the side of Dorado, they just put that 1 ward on the enemy red buff.
Yeah, did see a bunch of pings go out. Thinking they were in there.
Yeah, Bel'Veth is one of those champions where you always have to make sure you're defending your own raptors, right? That's Bel'Veth's like favorite camp to start on is enemy raptors. So I'm glad to see that Fish was around to kind of notice Dorado as they entered that topside jungle. And Cherry's not going to risk starting enemy raptors if she's doing it on vision. So going to be her own raptors that the Bel'Veth starts on. Gwen also starting on this bottom side of the map. They're both going to be pathing up towards this Aurora Kled lane.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting. We do see like the aggression early here are the mid laners that you would normally would see out of the top lane, with that heavy trading coming out, and the early electrocutes coming out from this Aurora. Just bit of health.
Oh, that's a flash engage for Mocha as Ashrel get the level 2. Kawota is going to have to flash out of that one. So good trade up for Dorado. Rel flash for Varus flash. Take that one every time.
Yeah, good fast fingers by Kawota. Got out of that pretty clean.
We're going to get the flip back onto Panda. Emilio going to take about 50% of his health bar, but Baywa getting chunked out a little bit as well. Piercing arrow landing there also for Kawota. So Contingent going to be feeling okay about that trade.
Yeah, Alternative also taking a pretty rough trade here in the mid lane. Significant health advantage.
Very true. Peel's also taking a bunch of... Everybody is trading pretty heavily at the moment. As a lot of low health bars in all of these lanes.
Well, if anyone thought this was going to be a passive game...
And they hadn't looked at the drafts yet. Absolutely right. So, as the jungler is soon going to be finishing up their first clears, and they're probably going to collide in that topside river, I would have to imagine.
Yeah, Scuttle's about to come up. Scion gonna go ahead and grab the early back.
Well, Source Walker I guess has the read here, or has the info, right? That the Bel'Veth was pathing up, so the Gwen not going to contest for that top Scuttle. Source Walker going to move down, take that bottom crab. They're going to be able to maintain parity with the Bel'Veth without actually fighting the Bel'Veth early on, which is probably a good call.
Yeah, their bot lane is in a better position. We are going to see the gank come through.
Yeah, so got Cherry now moving through the mid lane, wanting to try and scare the double Scuttle for herself, but we know that that South Scuttle has already been taken. Source Walker going to be able to push back the Bel'Veth. Cherry does find the knock up there onto 2, which is going to ensure her safe retreat. And now she's back onto the Raptors, her favorite place to be. Flash out of the bush for Mocha, finds the crash down onto Kawota, who no longer has flash. Remember, pops the barrier nice and early, tries to trade back this. Damage onto Baywa, the piercing arrow comes through, and Kawota secures the kill. Mocha able to trade it back, though. Rel, we will get away. Both junglers in the area, but it's just the 80 carries that are going to go down.
Yeah, Mocha and Baywa able to suss out that Panda left for just a moment to start walking mid, thinking that play may develop into more than what it was. And leads to a 1-to-1, but Varus gets the kill. Baywa doesn't on the Ashe.
That's right. Yeah, good start for Kawota now. And Ashe going to lose a couple of these minions as well. Baywa does get back in time for the cannon, of course. So he's going to feel relatively all right there.
Yeah, lane's pretty much dead even. Kled slightly behind. It's only 4 CS, so basically dead even across the board.
That's right, yeah. Very close game so far. Only 5 minutes in. Not enough time for anything really to happen just yet. But with these drafts, I don't think it would have been terribly surprised if there were like 5 kills on each side at this point, right?
Yeah, like the way they've been
Relatively.
fighting, they definitely could have.
Yeah.
We do see Panda is in mid right now, so that's taking that that roam up top.
So
And
connection issues still plaguing the contingent mid laner, unfortunately. As Quota slowed up by the volley. Crashdown comes through. Kawota down to about 50%. It's the Varus gonna be able to retreat underneath his tier 1. Definitely losing out on that trade.
yeah, they looked like Mocha did have to take a turret shot for that. But yeah, the moment they find out that Quota is alone, Baywa and Mocha are just pouncing on any opportunity they can.
I think that's how you want to play it with the Ashrel lane, right? Definitely a lane that you can play out really aggressively, especially in this matchup.
Yeah, for sure, that is the right call. That's what they want to be. So it looks like we are going to see Dragon traded over for Grubs. Ooh, into a gank.
Slot into the bottom lane. But the choo-choo train is going to arrive at the station to find nobody there. And that Decimating Smash, nice. Baywa playing on the edge there, but not going to get knocked up by the Scion Smash.
Yeah, and Source is going to go ahead and start up Dragon. Cherry's over on the Grubs.
Yeah, and this, obviously a very classic trade that we see a lot these days, the trade of these first neutrals. But I do feel like, the Belveth obviously has that special affinity for the Baron Pit. Really just enjoying all of the Void creatures that spawn there. So I feel like this does slightly favor... Oh, yeah, Enchanted Crystal Arrow in the bot lane. Quota doesn't have level 6. Does have the flashback up. Tries to utilize that to get away. Piercing Arrow going to come out here as the barrier is going to keep Baywa alive. The melee auto attack, not quite enough. Mocha with a Shattering Strike underneath the turret she goes. And takes down Kawota. Now Baywa not going to be able to get away from the Gwen. Sourcewalker going to snip him up. And that is going to be 1 kill back. Mocha now trying to get away. Finds the stun onto 2, but the Gwen's Needles will find another victim. A double kill for Sourcewalker. And that's Speed of Warfare for Contingent.
Yeah, the aggressive play from Baywa and Mocha doesn't really go in their favor. Yeah, they end up getting Quota on the backside of it, but it cost them a double kill over to Sourcewalker, and that's where you don't want these kills to be going over to.
And he's on a carry this time. So that gold is definitely going to be put to good use for the Gwen. Belveth's still sitting at 0 kills. I'm sure that's not where Cherry would like to be in an ideal world.
Yeah, probably looking to, does have 6 now. And we did have a plate go over mid lane to alternative when Epitome did that gank bottom with the ultimate.
Yeah, overall, the gold is pretty much dead. Even still, Demacian Justice, almost enough. Epitome on about 100 health. Barely be able to walk away from that one.
Yeah, that true damage came out. Looks like he got the shield just in time to be sure that wasn't lethal.
And did just get the teleport off cooldown. As Chain of Corruption going to land for Kawota. Good trade onto Baywa, but the Ashe was full HP, so going to be able to survive that one.
Yeah, 50% just from one combo, really, out of the Kawota there. That is rough, the damage.
It's not even lethality Varus. Arrows they really hurt. As Cherry is going to be looking to be the one who causes the hurting. As Kawota and Panda, got to be careful here. The Melio still only level 5. Panda not having access to that Breath of Life just yet, but I guess the minion wave, not big enough for the side of Dorado to really... I mean, maybe they could have gone for that, but they just didn't have info on where the members were. I mean, you can see Gwen and Scion hitting that tier 1. I feel like maybe they had to commit to that. I don't know.
Yeah, that was really desynced from the minions arriving in time. They didn't hold it out. I think at that point they did have to just commit.
Yeah. You committed the resources, the time to be a 4-man. Oh, a flash forward for Bishop. Man, Peels tries to go into the ultimate, gets back towards the tier 1. The Kled, though, charging forward. And the Ignite. Oh, it's not quite going to be able to get the kill. Fish thought the Ignite would be enough, but Peels able to make it out on a sliver of health.
Yeah, what a play from Peels to be able to just barely escape that. Great engagement.
They're engaging onto the Scion now, at Epitome, though, as the ultimate unstoppably retreats into the bottom lane.
Yeah, classic Scion. I don't want to be here anymore, so I'm going to a completely another lane in about 2 seconds.
My job here is done. And he just charges away. As Cherry secured the Raptors, but is she going to be able to get out now? Finds the knockup, flashes away. The needle's not quite going to land there for Source Walker. Meanwhile, I got a fight in the bot lane happening as well as Kawota tosses out the piercing arrow, but he doesn't have his Melio. This time around the hail of arrows, though, and it's going to be Kawota in the 1v2. Able to get the trade kill. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, the Garen is barely going to be able to make it out of that one. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Fisherman looking to chase down Peels once again. The Aurora, no ult, no summoners now. The Bear Trap, it connects, and Peels is going down. Solo kill for the Manfish.
Yeah, right now everything's just going in Contingent's favor. You know, Quota once again able to outplay this 1v2. Gets the kill on Baywa before the kill can go over, and Mocha has to take it again. Mocha's 3-1 and the only person on Dorado with kills.
Oh, that is wild. Yeah, that is not a good sign for them. So we just saw the second round of Grubs just get taken by the Gwen as well. So Belveth gonna make sad void monster noises that she didn't secure the rest of her brethren.
That caught me off guard. Sorry. But yeah, it's
the dragon's
it's
coming
going
up soon, so I'm sure Cherry would love to get that dragon. You can see the Belveth on the bottom side of the map now, but Oda and Panda have been doing a great job in this 2v2. Gonna get spotted out now. Find the Shattering Strike onto the Varus, but already there's so much damage coming out so quickly, and of course Kawota lands the arrow as well. Mocha gonna get chunked out significantly before a fight around the dragon can even happen.
Yeah, Quota already has this
Pressure.
Rage Blade.
Oh, look, he hurts so much. They go for the engagement. It might be too late. Kawota's going to flash away. Has the Melio ult as well to keep himself safe. Now Mocha doesn't have the ability to get away. Going to get taken down number 3 now for the Varus. And that should be the Dragon as well for Contingent.
Yeah, this kind of looks like the sides are still the same, but the teams are just reversed for how this bot lane is really going. And
True.
Quota out here with the first time he's gotten a clean kill, hasn't had to die for it. Mocha does have to pay for the sins.
Oh, Chain of Corruption on a Cherry. Look at that damage from the Varus. Just gets the kill. Belveth underneath the turret didn't stand a chance there. Alternative dropping the sword in the mid lane, and Kled just doesn't care. Scarl just ate that sword for breakfast. And then Fish of Man ate the Garen immediately afterwards. That's number 2 now for the Kled. 8-3 on the scoreboard. Man, Contingent. She's like, everything is going their way right now.
Yeah, and in the middle of that, Source Walker just calmly takes Dragon.
Yeah, I mean, everybody on the side of Dorado's fighting for their lives. They can't be worried about a dragon right now.
Yeah, just about enough time. There's the counter jungle. Source Walker just in full control. Contingent playing wonderfully here this game, too. We see more focus here on the bot lane.
Another charge as Baywa in trouble. Does have the support there, but there's nothing that Mocha can do. Swordswalker now on a spree. And this, I mean, the gold lead isn't too monstrous just yet, but it just feels like Contingent have complete control over this game right now.
Yeah, Dorado definitely on their heels here. How much more can they really take?
Magnet Storm going to be committed in the bot lane. Just trying to keep Sion in turret range, and Epitome does eat like 5 turret shots, but there's nobody there to follow up. And meanwhile, Cherry does get the Raptor, and then immediately dies.
Cherry walks out with
But
the
she
Raptor
got
at the
the
cost
Raptor.
of her life. Yeah.
And
Calls that a
Belveth
win.
is typing worth in the chat right now.
Right.
As that's an arrow is going to land. But it just doesn't matter. Look, he doesn't care at all. He's still fighting. Epitome is like, hit me again. Oh, he flashes out of the crack, and then he's going to die. All right. Well, maybe he should have cared a little bit more.
That is a ton of work by Mocha to basically solo a Scion for Baywa to walk all the way back, including pulling Scion under tower.
Mocha, I'm sure, could have taken that kill 1v1 if she wanted to, but she was just like, please, somebody besides me needs to get a kill, please. As now Peels is in trouble. It might be getting killed imminently, but does have the ultimate, so he's going to be able to do Aurora things and get away from that one.
For all the supports watching on stream, this is how you spoon feed your carries when they can't get a kill. You do all the work,
what you have to do.
99% of the damage, and then let them last hit. Even if you
That's
have to
absolutely
also
right.
commit your flash at the end of it to ensure it goes.
Oh, but all my solo queue supports are taking notes right now. That's how it's done, guys.
Does look good. And first, yeah, towers. Oof. Top and mid towers have gone down in all of this. There,
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And, you know, that is, of course, going to mean that the side of Contingent are going to get some feats for themselves. So it feels pretty good for them.
Yep, feats
And
have
they have built up this gold lead now to about 4K, which is almost exactly the same gold lead that Dorado had around this time in the previous game.
Yeah, it is kind of wild to see how much this game has really flipped on its head. And Contingent's just stepping on the gas. Which, I mean, that's what you want to do at this point. Keep going. Right now, Dorado cannot fight you. They have to concede everything.
Yeah, I mean, you can just see the Scion's health bar, man. He's just got his Sunfire done, and the only thing that can damage Epitome at this point are the turrets. That's it.
After about, what, 6-7 shots, it is a problem.
Yeah, and it takes the turret a long time, too. It's not like the turret does work on that Scion. He's got to sit in there for a minute before he's really got to be worried at all. We do still have those connection issues. Looks like it's the Dorado top laner this time.
Yep.
Everybody really is having some issues tonight.
Shout out to Spectrum. Stream not sponsored, but maybe it should be at this point.
The anti-sponsor.
Right, the anti-sponsor. We appreciate you. All right. Serious point. How does Dorado get back into this?
Get back into it.
Assuming their mental is not completely shattered right now.
Oh, that's a tough one, Soul. I'm gonna have to go with the game 3 on this one. Unfortunately, you've got Belveth and Garen and Ash from behind. Yeah, it's kind of cooked. I'm gonna be real right now. If Dorado find a way to come back in this game, I'm going to be very, very surprised. And Mocha was probably pretty surprised that there were so many people there. Just got one shot.
Yeah, that damage coming out there from Quota is serious. And this is AP Varus, by the way.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I got the blasting one there. Okay.
That is why these Blight Bursts are hurting so much, and we're seeing this massive burst damage come out. I didn't pick up on it till just now.
Yeah, definitely different from the build that Kawota went for in the previous game, as Peels is trying to get away and is going to be very invisible, and so is not going to get chased down by the Kled. But yeah, in the previous game, Kawota went for, I believe it was the Rage Blade into the, oh god, I forgot the name of the item.
Wit's End and the Zephyr.
Yeah, there's the Wit's End, and then the one that gives you stacking resists on your auto attacks.
Yeah.
It's not Zephyr, because Zephyr is the one where you upgraded your Berserker's Greaves. That was a different item that I'm pretty sure is no longer in the game. I don't remember the name of that.
There was a Wit's End.
There was definitely a Wit's End. You're right about that. Yeah, I think he went Wit's End second.
On hit.
Yeah, it's like, is it Tempest maybe? I don't remember.
Is it Tempest now?
I don't remember the name of that other item. But it's the one that gives you resists on your auto attacks. So here we go. So we got another dragon is coming up very, very soon, and this is going to be soul point for Contingent if they can get it. So you can see it's desperation time for Dorado. They're going for the death brush.
Yep.
They need to find somebody face checking at this point to have any chance of getting a pick.
Oh, Peels.
And Peels is the one getting picked off, unfortunately. It just gets absolutely snipped into a million little pieces. That's going to be a flash forward for alternative onto the Varus, but Kawota had the flash to get away. Kawota trying to kite this one out. The Chain of Corruption does come out onto the Belveth, but a beautiful engage from Mocha. They take down the Varus. It's a massive shutdown for Baywa, but is it going to be enough to win them? The team fight, the Garen does get traded back. Sourcewalker trying to get out the snips, not going to be able to do so, but Fish of Man able to clean up the Ash. Mocha going to get taken down as well, and the lead was just a little bit too big for the side of Contingent. Dorado found the target that they needed to, and it still wasn't quite enough.
Yeah, Baywa actually lands a pretty decent arrow. It hits Sourcewalker, not Kuota, who they were originally going for. So the fight carries up a little bit. Mocha kind of hero carries that whole play with that engage and the lockdown. It's a good fight from Dorado. I don't know that it's enough to get them back into it. But it was a good fight.
It was a good try, definitely. And the carry rel that we're seeing this game is definitely looking fantastic. Just unfortunately, nobody else on the team really able to put in a similar level of performance in this one, unfortunately.
Yep.
At least not yet.
Putting all that kill money to good use. You know, it's valid.
Absolutely.
Justified.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Yeah, I mean, the Mocha is clearly understands the weight of responsibility on her shoulders with all of these kills, and is doing her very best.
Yep, full damage rail. Sell all those support items, Mocha. You got this. This game is yours.
That's, well, hey, we got the Krugs. Hashtag worth.
Cherry once again steals the jungle camp for her life. It's an interesting trade.
It is, yeah. It's like the trade offer meme. It was very appropriate here. Sourcewalker has found Baywa, or has Mocha found Sourcewalker, as the Gwen is going to get exploded. The chain of corruption lands, though, and that's going to mean a dead Baywa as well. A Epitome on the flank angle here finds the unstoppable onslaught onto the enemy carry, and by the enemy carry, I of course mean the Rel. But now the Scion is in a little bit of trouble, going to get slowed up, but he is absolutely monstrous and is not going to get taken down, so just ends up being a 1-for-1. Not terrible for Dorado, but they are staring down this Mountain Soul point now, which is, I mean, feels pretty bad.
Yeah, well, they got the kill, and I believe a small shutdown over in the Baywa on the Sash. So
Yes.
at least you got the gold where you wanted, and you took a fight winning it 1-for-1. At this point, that's a win for Dorado.
That's true, but unfortunately, Ash is not very known for her ability to kill tanks. And we have a Scion and a Kled that are about to get Mountain Soul in less than 4 minutes. And that's probably just going to be the game right there if Dorado can't find a way to stop it.
Yeah, let's see if Cherry decides to toss her life away here for red buff and Raptors.
Okay. We're trying to kill Scion. And we're no longer trying to kill Scion.
Yeah, that's a tall order. That is a very tall order.
It is.
And Ruinous does go over to Contingent during this.
Oh, I didn't even notice. Good
Yep.
call. Yeah, they're going to get that Otacon, and now they're pressuring bot tier 2 as well. That Herald is definitely going to do some work. He's going to be able to take down this bot turret. Cherry did get some more counter jungling done, and didn't die this time, so there is that.
Yeah, and they secured top T1. So some gold being traded back here. Signs of life.
Yeah.
You know, so there's some positives here.
It looks like they are also going to be able to get a stop on the Herald from... Oh, it crashed into a wall, apparently. Okay, we've got a fight breaking out, as, Rel has already been taken down, and so is the Bel'Veth. So that's a couple of quick ones. Go over to Contingent. Thankfully, for the side of Dorado, at least, the Dragon isn't alive yet, so they're not going to lose that objective right now. But it's still complete control over this game for Contingent.
Yeah, it looks like everybody... I'm starting to look at these item builds coming across here. Everybody's basically a damage build outside of the Rel. Arguably should be the damage build, but there's no magic resist coming across. Have they not realized that Quota is AP Varus?
Oh.
Which is why they are all blowing up instantly.
Cherry has Hullbreaker on Bel'Veth Jungle.
Well, it is an item you can build.
That's true. It is available in the shop. Boris does carry that item.
Maybe
and
he
honestly,
shouldn't for jungles.
I think I kind of understand the thought process. Cherry is just recognizing the fact that they're never going to win a team fight ever for the rest of this game, no matter what. So we're going to go for some split push Bel'Veth jungle, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's an option. May want to go ahead and finish the boots here at 23 minutes. Could be time for Bel'Veth to get boots too.
I mean, the boots will help you move more quickly down the side lane. So, I would have to agree.
Is the side lane the goal, or is these jungle camps the true goal?
Oh, true. It also helps you get to the jungle camps faster. You're absolutely right. How could I be so silly?
Perhaps the plan is to starve out Sourcewalker from their own jungle camps. Looking at the CS, it's not working, but we do see Belvath is already back on those Raptors.
He sure is. Her favorite place to be. Like our favorite place to be is in Pause.
In Pause Grades.
So that's your favorite, right?
Yes, I thoroughly enjoy it. We had DC from Epitome and then a DC from Mocha. And yeah, it's
Yep.
we can see this is starting to affect our poor team's mentals with all these disconnects.
It's not ideal. Although Contingent are probably a little bit more okay with it than Dorado are in this particular instance, just because they're so massively far ahead.
It does feel
so
better when
they
you're
just
ahead.
get to enjoy, exactly, yeah. They get to enjoy being ridiculously far ahead for even longer than they otherwise would. So perhaps some extra mental damage being inflicted there. It kind of makes you wonder.
Yeah, that is a very fair point, as you have to figure at this point, everybody's realizing this is going to Game 3. Without a miracle, this goes to Game 3.
They're going to need a few miracles, I think, in this one.
You know, Elder Steel, Baron Steel. Elder Steel would be good. I don't know if they win off of it. I don't know if there's enough damage. But somebody build Magic Resist, please.
The Belvath has the Hull Breaker, so assuming you're only sending the Belvath to try and get in there for the steal, she's going to survive for like a couple seconds longer to maybe get that smite off. Are you seeing it? The lines? Are you seeing them?
That is very big brain.
Yeah.
That could be the thing.
Yeah, it is.
Now it just needs a... What is that? A Mercs to be able to dispel this crowd control?
Yeah.
And
then we'll be full build
then
on
you're
the beta.
set.
Absolutely.
This will work. So this looks like to be Soul going over.
Yeah, slight problem. We're not in position to try and steal the dragon right now. So we're also gonna get charged on in the mid lane. Oh my goodness, it's the double charge combo. Oh my god. Oh, the humanity. Oh my god. Oh, turn it off. Oh, just go to the next game already. Oh, that was brutal.
Yeah, we did get to see, I guess it's a wombo for Kled Scion ulting at the same time.
Oh, man.
How fast can you really get to a team fight from across the map?
Baywatch just got kebabbed. That was crazy. As we're ghosting forward now, and Sherry is possibly in a little bit of trouble. There are way too many allies around right now for her to be getting value out of this Hull Breaker. But thankfully, even without the tier 2 boots, it seems we do have enough movement speed, enough dashes, I should say, to get away from that one.
Well, to Cherry's credit, while Baywa and Alternative were getting shish kebabbed, she did get T1 mid.
Okay. Yeah, we absolutely did get that. Now we are getting charged again by this completely immortal... Just look at that health bar on Epitome. That's got to be like some kind of crime, right?
That is a lot of health.
Is this enough to take away some more wins? I know we were doing that earlier. No, just kidding. Just kidding, obviously. But this game is very much over, ladies and gentlemen, and it was a very, very one-sided one as Contingent Esports Black completely obliterate Dorado Kai here in game number 2.
Yeah, this definitely felt like some vengeance. Quota showing them how the other half kind of lives there on this game. Whew. And recovering the mental state from that type of game.
I gotta recover my mental state after that game. So what about me? Oh my goodness. Yeah, the Belveth unfortunately did less damage than the Rel, which obviously nobody's gonna be surprised by that, right? It was the carry Rel in this game for Mocha, so that actually just makes sense.
Mocha did work. Not even gonna try that. Like Mocha did a ton of work in that match.
Did. Yeah.
That
Only
was
member
insane.
of the team with a positive KDA in this game. 3, 6, and 4 on the Rel. It was a valiant effort. Maybe just a little bit more damage in the builds would have been enough.
Yeah, Mocha, my MVP. If she'd have gone damage. Sell those support items.
But we do need to award a POG for the other side, of course. Soul Last time around, we did end up giving it to Baywa for that crazy carry performance on the Mel in the previous game. And Kawota, I feel like, is probably the front runner in this one, although Epitome was extremely unkillable. What do you think? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think Kawota had a great game. I like the change up of the build, but I think Epitome was like that end all factor. That Scion just became too much to deal with, even though Quota played so well. The Scion was just a problem.
Yeah, Epitome did also, of course, get the Mountain Soul, which ended up helping out quite a bit, but he didn't get it until the very end of the game, right? So mostly he was just doing Scion things. And we were worried as well about that matchup into the Garen, right? So I think some extra deserved credit there for Epitome. But I do think we also have to shout out Panda. You know, we were really kind of upset seeing Panda on the Yuumi in the previous game. At least I was upset. On you know, just feeling like Panda didn't have the agency that they needed to really make an impact. This time around, 0-0 and 21 on the Melio. Some exceptional support play.
Yeah, fantastic from Panda on that Melio. Looked phenomenal. Keep the Yuumi in the cage.
That's right. That's gonna do it for. Oh, that's right. No break. So we're just gonna.
Looks like they are just about good here, so it shouldn't be as long of a delay.
All right, where are those draft links? All right, I just have to get into the.
Coming.
I'll be there in just a moment.
Yep, just about have them ready.
I forgot I have these tournament codes here as well.
So
I'm so pampered usually. People just invite me to the lobbies. I never have to play anything.
I
can do it myself. I should have totally fine.
Should have did that.
No. You're good, Soul. I'm a big boy caster. I can do it myself. That's totally fine.
So coming here to game 3, I want to see the Varus band.
Yes.
Dear Dorado, like I've seen this twice now. It has to end.
I think that's going to be necessary for sure. Interesting that Dorado have also opted for the red side. So the red side is 2-0 now tonight. So I guess that does make sense. It's just, you know, a little bit strange. I feel like blue side is generally speaking, you know, the stronger side. But I guess here in the LXC, things don't necessarily work that way.
Yeah, counter too strong. Is what we're going with.
Yeah, I guess that R5 Melio pick for Contingent in the previous draft definitely ended up providing a lot of value for them, right? So
yeah,
I could see it. I could definitely see it. Let's see for Dorado for their side. And game number 1, before when they were on the red side, they saved their R5 pick for the mid laner for alternative. There it was the Corki, if you all remember, in that game number 1. So maybe that's going to be the strategy once again here.
Boy, that would be tough. I mean, what's the likelihood we see another crazy draft like that? You know, the Scion mid, Garen, Aurora top. Like, if it does start to go that way, you know, does the Gwen get banned again here on blue side, or do they pick it up?
That's true. Yeah, Contingent did ban the Gwen when they were on the blue side in game number 1. That's a good shout for sure. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, I think I liked the bans for Contingent better in game number 2, kind of agnostic of the side that they were on. I would probably recommend, you know, definitely getting rid of that Mel again for sure on their side. And then, you know, they have obviously in game number 2, they ended up also banning the Vi and the Yasuo in that first phase. And as you know, if you really feel like the Gwen is that important of a pick, you know, you can take it on the B1, assuming that the Varus is going to get banned, right? So you're not going to be able to take that first. Yeah, definitely some interesting directions that we could go for this game number 3.
Yeah, I would like to see that. I kind of want some more conventional things coming out. I don't think the Ashe worked very well bot line. I want to see Baywa something on not utility. put him back on the Zaya. You know, the Movite. Give the Jinx. I think would be acceptable. Put him on something that he can actually carry the game with.
Yeah, it does feel like Baywa has kind of been the main threat on the side of Dorado so far tonight. So that would make a lot of sense to me, I think.
You're good to drop into spec as well.
Oh, right.
As they fix their lineups.
The same draft link.
Yep, I can give it to you.
No, I'm already here. I got it.
Okay. So it looks like teams are finally ready with all the...
Okay, we're getting into it. Yeah. So here we go. Time to see what these teams are going to go for in this deciding game number 3. The Viban again to start us off. That's just been permanently banned away from Cherry all night. And the Master Yi getting removed here again makes sense as well, of course.
Yep, does seem to be the prio. Sourcewalker's not allowed to play the Yi.
Nor should he be allowed to do so.
Nope, Yi should be banned from the game completely. I'm okay if they delete that champion as well.
Yeah, he's not even like a 2024 champion or 2025. That Master Yi is kind of impressive.
Release
honestly, how
or
he's
close to release.
I know he's been in the game this whole time and he's still toxic to play against. It's kind of amazing. But we do have the Mel is going to get banned here by Contingent. So that makes sense. Now we just need to see this Varus ban come out from Dorado. They are going to have to leave up either the Ambessa or the Vel'Koz. Those Master Yi, Ambessa, and Vel'Koz have been Dorado's bans up to this point. They're not willing to let the Ambessa go over.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would let the Vel'Koz through of those. You can deal with the Vel'Koz. It's rather immobile. Dealing with an Ambessa is always a problem.
She is a bit of a problem, isn't she?
The Jax ban.
Yeah.
First ban we're seeing of Jax tonight. Someone has a plan.
Yeah. Terry did play the Jax last week. Do I have those stats?
So they're saying either ban the Gwen or we're taking it. You have to let either the Gwen or the Varus through.
That's right. That's right. Ooh, I think you have to ban the Varus. You have to ban the Vel'Koz. Okay, so they just are going to want to trade then. They're just wanting to trade. So Varus obviously is going to get taken here. But then if we...
It's the Gwen.
Wow, interesting. So then does Dorado take the Varus?
I think you have to.
I think you have to. Do we even play Varus? Let me see. Baywa... I don't see any Varus games here.
I would say even if he doesn't, he's going to have to, like, YouTube a tutorial real quick. You know, that 3-minute Varus guide.
Time to learn Varus, buddy.
Right. So we do see the Lulu pick. So that'll save them that ban that they have been banning against Panda. Is that Lulu?
Varus. Show me Varus. Varus.
Yeah, this is going to be very concerning. It's the Jinx.
Oh. I mean, Jinx Lulu is obviously a strong pairing.
It is a good pairing. It also does take out one of Panda's mains with that Lulu.
Okay, but I mean, he still has the Melio. It was 0-0-21 on Melio last game.
Yeah.
Maybe Melio's a little bit more situational.
Jinx is a bit of a better trader and can block more of that Varus poke damage, being that enchanter. Yeah. So that matchup does look a little better.
At least the Jinx outranges Varus with the auto attack, right? So you don't outrange him with the arrows necessarily, but maybe you can trade a little bit easier with this lane.
So I would imagine this has to be the Varus pickup, or surely that gets banned phase 2.
If it's not Varus, yeah. Surely they just take the Varus again. Or maybe they feel like the Jinx Lulu is actually a really good preemptive counter to the Varus. I don't know. Obviously, you have to take the Varus. I mean, he's been lights out on the Varus so far tonight.
Yeah,
Even in the game
agree.
that they lost, Kawato was going absolutely crazy.
Yeah, was the Shining Star turning team fights.
Yeah, okay, and it's going to be the Ornn again for Peels. So this is Yeah, Peels, I don't think necessarily played bad on the Aurora in the previous game, but definitely didn't really end up having much of an impact. So I think Ornn is
Yeah,
going to work out pretty well for them. It's great to have that front line for Jinx as well.
didn't do as well in the Kled as I would have expected. I thought that matchup would be far more Aurora favored.
Yeah, it didn't really work out that way.
But yeah, Jinx with Ornn items and that front line, that the scaling is very real here for Dorado, and they did win with the Ornn. They're in game 1.
Yeah, yeah. And it does feel like, at least with these first 3 picks for the side of Dorado, it does feel like they are going to be drafting around Baywa, right? Which is exactly what you were calling for before we started this draft. You wanted to see them set Baywa up for success.
Put
And they're
Baywa
doing
in
it so
something
far.
he's got control of, so we are going to see now the support ban heavy coming out. Last time this was
Yeah.
normally the Lulu, so what did they ban? Did they hit mid with something?
Or you could just ban Emilio if you feel like that's going to be something you're going to have to worry about. There's also the Seraphine that you could maybe consider. Renata, all right.
Yeah, Renata's a good
Alright.
call. Jinx can destroy a team rather quickly.
Yeah. Feels like Renata really excels against dive compositions, right? Which is not really what Dorado are putting together right now, but maybe just feeling like it's a strong pick for Panda, perhaps. Wukong going to get locked in for Cherry. Pretty strong jungler, relatively safe blind pick.
Yeah,
Definitely fits the composition really nicely as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, fallen a bit out of priority. We haven't seen Wu being picked up as much since the last couple patches, which I think he got picked on a little bit, but still very strong.
Yeah, they nerfed the attack speed on his E. He gets 5% less attack speed from the E at all ranks now. But I feel like he's still pretty strong. I think he's in a perfectly fine place still, the Wukong. The Scion is going to come through again. Do they just run back? I mean, they're running back almost all of that draft that they had in the previous game for the side of Contingent. Oh, they could just lock in Melio here and have the No! So... Oh,
Well-
why isn't that Emilio?
Yeah, I don't. Oh, I think Contingent just gave this whole game away.
I mean, I don't know.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I mean, the Yuumi was helpful in game. It's not like the Yuumi did nothing, right? You could kind of see the idea that the scaling power was starting to come through. I think our main criticism of the Yuumi, right, is just the fact that we feel like Panda needs to be a little bit more what's the word I'm looking for?
Needs to be more agency, like map presence.
Yeah, it needs. Yeah,
It
he
does
needs to
hurt your
have
vision.
more freedom.
Now it isn't a kill lane that they're walking into necessarily. Lulu Jinx is not going to be one to jump on you, stun you, and lock you down forever. So it is
Yeah.
a better matchup for the Yuumi. It's Enchanter into Enchanter.
True.
So there's not that massive kill threat coming across. So it's
okay.
slightly
Yeah.
better.
All right, you're selling me. You're selling me, Soul. Okay, I mean, and obviously they saved the support pick until last for the side of Contingent, so they could see that Dorado was putting together, a scaling team fight composition. So, they're probably able to recognize for the side of Contingent that Yumi's not going to get punished in the early laning phase like she was before.
Yeah, it is
So-
Death Ball versus Death Ball.
Okay.
Both these teams want
Yeah.
a flat 5v5. And that Yuumi
Yeah.
does do the best into that with her ult going across to heal everyone. That's where you want her. I think there's champions that do it a bit better because the vision
Yeah.
is still a problem. That's still going to be
Yeah.
a weakness is the vision score. You're not going to get that vision that Panda had there in game 2. It's going to be that 60-70 by the end of the 30-40 minute game, which is still good for a Yuumi, but it's not the 120-130 from a normal support.
Although, Soul, there is a jungler that I know that famously said that vision is not real. So maybe they're just taking a page out of Cherry's book.
That is
Huh?
spot
Huh?
on. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if they're trying to prove her wrong or right with this pick. But
I'm not sure either, but they're trying to prove something. That's for sure. And maybe we'll learn what it is possibly, over the course of this game. Maybe they're trying to prove to me that Yuumi is a real champion and exists in the game of League of Legends.
Yeah,
That would probably take some
maybe
doing. But...
maybe Yuumi gets her first win in the LXC ever. Is
First
this
win
the
ever?
game?
Is that for sure the stat? Yuumi has never won a game in the LXC?
I'm
Can we
almost
confirm
positive that
Oh,
there
man,
there has
okay.
not been a Yuumi
Well,
win.
that's that'll be something fun to look out for, definitely. We do still need to address the Vladimir in the room. So he was locked in on the R5 here.
Yeah, I was skipping that.
you were planning to not address the Vladimir in the room. Well, I'm gonna force your hand a little bit. This is going to be the option in the mid lane. For alternative, he's going to be playing it against presumably the Scion again. I mean, Fish has played the Kled literally every game, I believe, right? So
Yes.
I'm sure that's happening again. Kled in the top lane. It's an interesting lane. You know, Vladimir not very strong early. Not really going to be able to pressure the Scion at all. Maybe alternative just feels like no matter what I pick, I'm not going to be able to pressure this Scion. Maybe that's the read. Or, you know, maybe he just doesn't care about the Scion at all, and he's just picked Vladimir because he feels like it was the best pick to go with the rest of Dorado's composition.
Well, Vladimir's very safe. Vladimir is next to impossible to gank. You know, Scion can't pressure Vladimir at all. There's never any kill pressure coming out of that lane. Does do fairly well in the poke and long extended trades, which was what Scion wants to play, so it's kind of that weakness there. Yeah, Vlad has that ultimate sustainability, and yeah, I see where the Vlad is, and he does make sense in the Deathball comp, can be pretty tanky, but is susceptible to burst damage, which is pretty much how you kill a Vladimir.
Right.
And we likely see this AP virus come out again as the team comp is almost identical.
Sorry, team comp is almost identical to what?
For Contingent Black, where he ran the AP virus
Oh,
for that
yes,
heavy
yes,
burst,
yes.
and that's
Right.
a massive weakness of Vladimir is that burst damage.
Oh, very true. Yes, good call out there. So we'll have to see. I mean, it's obviously going to be really critical, as it always is for Vladimir players, the timing of the Sanguine pool, right? You need to maximize the value that you get from that, as Vladimir's one kind of escape ability. So definitely have to keep an eye out there. Definitely not wanting to get hit by any chains of corruption or Scion smashes or anything like that. But it is really interesting to me, Soul, that the fact that the side of Dorado kind of got bowled over in that early game that we just saw, and they've kind of, the takeaway from that seems to have been, okay, so we're just not going to interact with our opponents in the early game at all, and we're just going to play to scale and play for team fights later on, which is a very different direction that they've taken with their draft as opposed to the previous game, right? So it's just, we'll have to see if it does end up working out for them. As we are most of the way through the spectator delay already, so which draft do you prefer this time around?
Yeah, I like Dorado's draft a bit better. I like the scaling comp that they have here. It is not the we want to fight you at every turn that Contingent has stuck with. Now, they played it very well, and they won off that, so it makes sense that they would go back to that fighting style. We want to fight you from second one as soon as champions load in, to where Dorado's going to sit back, scale up, and we'll see you at minute 30 with a 4-item Jinx.
We'll see. We'll see. It's a very cohesive draft for Dorado this time around. They clearly has a very clear direction with this composition, and that direction is late game. So we'll see if they can get there. For the side of Contingent, this is pretty much the same draft that they've been running all night, and they absolutely demolished their opponents with it in the previous game. We'll have to see if they can get Yuumi her first ever win in the LXC. We'll be right back.
If you wanna be a wonder, baby, come and show it. Tell me what you feel in your heart and your soul. There's nothing I would take for granted. With me, we'll make it through. Takes two hearts to fix heartbreak.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else, welcome back to Summoner's Rift for the last time tonight. We got Contingent Esports Black back on the blue side with a tongue twister there, and we've got Dorado Gaming Kai back on the red. See who's going to take this one and make that claim towards the top of the standings here in Sector number 1. Bottom of the line here.
Yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to see anything fishy like we did, sorry, Yumi pun.
I see what you did there.
That we saw there from Game 2 where we had the spicy invade. So Game 3, everybody's locking in. Want some more focus.
No Belvet this time, so we don't have that imperative to find the enemy raptor camp.
Dying for enemy jungle camps. Probably not going to see Hullbreaker Woo.
I hope not. Yeah, but that's just kind of how you have to play the champion. And when Belvet falls behind, then that's just kind of how it goes. You just end up dying in the enemy jungle. Is what it is.
Mocha did sneak in for that ward.
Okay, yeah.
Catches the Gwen.
Very nice. Yeah, so information for Dorado. See the Gwen starting on the bottom side of the map. Reversed clears for our junglers this time around. I believe that is the first time tonight we've had our junglers pathing towards opposite sides.
Yep, I do believe that is correct. There's normally they wait till first scuttle to separate. When they would deviate from their plans.
I think a little bit more happy about this for the Dorado side. I think for, you know...
Yeah, Scion being a little punished, range versus melee matchup.
So, pathing down. I guess you lost me again for a second there, huh?
Yep. Looks like we did.
24, 25.
Yep, you're spot on. We do have Cherry's pretty... Oh no, that is not Cherry. That's Sourcewalker in his jungle. My bad.
Good.
It's Cherry on the Gwen.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I could see how you would get a little bit mixed up there. Yeah, Gwen taken away from Cherry in this one. See what Sourcewalker is going to be able to get done with it. Was, of course, playing it in the previous game as well. Looked quite good on the pick. So, and I know Sourcewalker's played it in previous weeks also. So this is a true shared champ in the pools.
Man, Epitome really struggling here in this mid lane. Just getting bullied out by alternative.
Yeah. I guess maybe the Scion Vladimir matchup a little bit more Vladimir favored than perhaps we realized.
It does look, it may have even denied him a little bit of XP, a couple minions there, off a couple of that wave.
Well, Earthwalker a little bit faster on the clear.
Peels and Fish still fighting it out.
Ugh.
Bro, it feels like that hasn't ended all 3 games between
Yeah,
Peels and
true,
Fish.
true. A lot of skirmishing up there. Getting the traded crabs once again here.
Looks like junglers will meet here at these Raptors. Nope, Cherry going for the gank in behind.
Yeah, she sure is. As Alternative did go down quite low, but Epitome extended pretty deep to try to get that kill. But the Scion, Nerves of Steel, holding on to the flash there. Alternative did use it to try to close the distance. Cherry might have to flash away as well. Wukong just barely able to walk that one off. Meanwhile, in the top lane, the flash underneath the turret. Fish secures the first blood.
Just fights all over. Bot lane here is still going hard.
Kubota gonna get exhausted. Varus going down quite low. Trading back to Piercing Arrow, and now Baywa is the one getting hit with the exhaust. A lot of low health bars in multiple lanes at the moment.
Yeah, blinking all over. Fish doing the right call here.
Ooh.
Did immediately back after getting that kill. Doesn't overstay for Peels to TP in and get a kill.
Oh, definitely good to utilize that back timing. Has the teleport advantage now in the top lane. Peels did use it to get back after getting solo killed.
Yeah. Just so much fighting going on. Health bars everywhere. Grub's about to come up, dragging up. Where do you go for lane prio?
Yeah, I mean, the junglers definitely, you know, with all of this skirmishing, they have an opportunity to make an impact in any of these lanes, anywhere that they feel like they want to prioritize. The Fish definitely getting the better end of Peels up towards the top lane so far in this one.
Yeah, matchup going a little bit different than this matchup we saw in Game 1 where Peels was kind of ahead and able to bully this Kled out.
Maybe that had something to do with the fact that there was kind of that failed early gank from Sourcewalker where they were like trying to pressure Peels, but they weren't really able to, and then maybe like there's some XP getting leached away from the Kled there. I don't really know.
Ooh, that's
certainly,
a really good call.
For whatever reason, different this time around. What were you saying there, Sol?
So I was saying, yeah, that's probably a really good call. I didn't think about it at that point. Likely we see the objective trade. Grubs for Dragon. Cherry is in that area.
Yeah, Wukong might not know right now that Gwen is on the Grubs, but gonna find out in just a moment here, and as you say, is in the right place to go for that trade. Looks like that is what we're going to see. And for the side of Dorado, I like the Dragon end of it this time around. I mean, you've got the scaling team fight comp, and what better way to set yourself up for some late game team fights than threaten a Dragon Soul?
Yeah, that's exactly where you want to be. Alternative taking a bit more of that trade than I think he wanted to. Looks like they didn't quite sanguine pull fast enough. So Epitome coming out ahead.
Now we have the Boots Rush first for both of our mid laners in this one. The, what are those called again? The Symbiotic Souls for Epitome. Did the Scion build those in the previous game as well? I think maybe he did, right?
I believe
he's
so.
getting ganked right now. Cherry's in there with the Cyclone. Really nice flash there from the Wukong to prevent the escape path of Epitome. And Cherry able to help Alternative get on the board there. It's actually Wukong picking up the kill. It's 1-1 now in the early game. Woda getting locked down by the Flame Chompers down here towards the bottom side. Baywalk hiding forward. The barrier comes out. The Yuumi going down low, and it doesn't reattach in time. It's a double kill for Baywalk. It's the Dorado bot duo back to their winning ways.
Yeah, Baywalk with the reset after getting that first off the kill off the Yuumi ends up being the death of Quota on top of it from the passive set. The passive with the reset, and huge props to Cherry. She didn't flash that off the sound effect. She flashed that off the animation, which happens just before that sound effect goes off, or she doesn't catch Scion right there. Really heads up play.
Yeah, it's a tight window before the Scion starts to pick up steam, and then he's too far away for you to actually get the angle to stop him. So, yeah, I mean, clearly Cherry, she knew that that's the only way Epitome gets out of that gank, right? So she was ready for it.
Yeah, it's great job. I've seen that tried several times and not actually work out in the favor of those flashing. They either flash too soon or too late. So it's a really good job.
Absolutely. Sorry about my connection issues tonight. I'm not really sure what's... I guess it is just the ISP struggling. I don't really know. But 56, 57 are still okay?
Yep, you are spot on still.
Okay.
That's right, connections issues all around.
Yeah.
The players have infected us.
Tonight. But still, I mean, despite it all, we've had a really fun series on our hands this evening. The team's really putting on a show for us. You can really tell that they're leaving it all out there to try to get themselves into that first place spot. Only a couple of weeks left, right, in the regular season after this. So, you know, it's now or never for making that push towards top of the standings, as Cherry gonna get spotted out in the enemy Raptor camp, where she often is, and doesn't have the Warrior Trickster available, so not gonna be able to get away. Sourcewalker picking up his first of the game.
Yeah, no flash, no trickster, just a dead Wukong for that jungle. Didn't see if still was able to smite away the Raptors.
Not sure. I believe Cherry got them, but I didn't catch it either.
Would be a classic Cherry.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah. Alternative, continuing to find some good trades here in the mid lane. Is going to get knocked up by that decimating smash, but doesn't really seem too bothered about it.
Yeah, it wasn't quite under turret, so not a whole lot changes.
We got the grubs coming up in about 10 seconds here. All three of the first cohort were secured by Contingent. But Sourcewalker on the bottom side of the map at the moment.
With how this game is shaping up, I think we called this pretty early that these two teams was going to be like the tail of the bot lanes. You know, Baywa Mocha versus Quota and Panda, and it's really been that way. I think both games with the Mel game 1, you know, Quota's Virus game 2 going crazy, and now Jinx for Baywa out to an early lead.
Absolutely right. As Perry looking for another play towards mid lane, is going to get the Scion ultimate out, but doesn't have the flash interrupt at this time, so there's going to be that ultimate down for Epitome. Meanwhile, Sourcewalker able to secure the first 2 grubs already, and Cherry, it's going to be alternative a little bit late to the party, unfortunately, so all 6 grubs going to get secured by Contingent Black. They are going to have Twitch chat as an ally in this one.
Yeah, kind of an odd play there from Peels, just taking Prio rather than walking down for the grubs.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really... Oh, Cherry gonna get exhausted. Kawota gonna get polymorphed. Is fine. Yeah, I hear you. I feel like maybe Peels could have delayed the grubs if the Ornn had moved down early, but you also don't really represent that much threat on your own, right, as the Ornn. And it was, you know, Cherry and Alternative that were kind of late to the play, right, because they were trying to get the mid-pry. They were trying to push out Epitome first. So I don't really know if Peels could have done too much to stop that, but maybe could have had an impact, at least been able to delay a little bit. Cherry at least is going to be able to secure, it looks like, this second dragon. So we're continuing to trade off the neutrals for now. Baywa has secured 3 turret plates in this bottom lane.
Yeah, a lot of cash over to this Jinx. Let's see this gold advantage. Yeah, it's 1,400 gold advantage right now on this Jinx. So this Jinx is really off to a good start. Very ahead.
But Kawota does have the Rage Blade done, so let's see what Jinx is able to complete with this base. Finishes the Berserker's Greaves. It's Crit Cloak on top. So it's a slight advantage for the Jinx right now in terms of itemization. Really just those tier 2 boots being the key difference.
And the next item will tell us which way Quota is going to go. If he decides to go for the AP build, we'll see if he picks up the Blasting Wand or the Book. If either of those show up, we know it's the AP.
We got the 2-man play towards the top side. It's Contingent Black looking to secure this first turret. Yeah, it looks like they will be able to get it. So, it's going to come down to the next neutral objective is going to determine who gets the feats this game.
Ooh, Cherry
behind
off the Hex Gate.
Herald's 2.5 minutes. What was that, so?
So Cherry behind off this Hex Gate. It looked like they were going to dive this. No, they just back off.
Has both sums up.
So I saw a crafty play there. The Wukong took the Hex Gate across, and looked like they wanted it.
They could have been looking for it, but decided not to go for it in the end.
And it will be Hexol.
Yeah, which is definitely an important thing to keep in mind. You know, Dorado going to be feeling really good about that, right? Given the fact that they were able to secure those first 2 dragons. They just need one more to go up to Soul Point, and then you're really threatening. As fight towards the bottom side, is Baywa in trouble? The Jinx gonna get wild growth, but it's not enough to save her. Double kill over to Kawota, and now the Ornn is teleported in after his bot lane has already gone down. So a lot of things going wrong for Dorado there. Meanwhile, in the South River, Alternative gonna be able to use the Ghost to dodge away from that unstoppable onslaught. Still a positive trade for Epitome. Ult for Summoner.
Yeah, quick little fancy footwork with the Ghost from Alternative. Just side steps. Looks like a nice little glide on the Scion ult there.
Really nice sequence for Contingent. They're going to be able to get another turret. Little bit of a gold lead for themselves now.
Yeah, 2
And
turrets
that's
to nothing.
importantly, call the Forge God, though. Kawota sidesteps the Ram. Alternative, though, level 11. Does have his first item done as well. Drops the Hemo Plague. Goes into the pool, and Kawota, it's the Super Mega Death Rocket that takes him down. But thankfully, the cat does have a Kled to jump onto. So it's only going to be that 1 kill over to Dorado. 4-4 now.
Yeah, Kled TP ends up saving the cat.
Yeah.
Good timing. Nice little escape. So does that give Kled 2 minions? A dinosaur and a cat?
Panda typing, thanks, Uwu, in the chat, as Mocha is saying no thanks for that one. That was very dead, Lulu.
Yeah, Mocha probably where she shouldn't be, face checking a bush, then happened to find a Gwen, not a Yumi.
Yeah, not ideal for the Lulu. So that is going to be Contingent back in the lead once again. Less than 90 seconds out now, Soul, on this first Hextech Dragon, and its alternative under pressure. Outside of Contingent, they're just running straight up to this mid turret, saying this is ours now. Chain of Corruption, that's a nice pull from Alternative. Dodges away from the Varus ultimate, but still the Vladimir is so low, and he's not running the teleport. Does still have enough time. He's going to be able to get back onto the map before the dragon spawns. And honestly, Dorado don't have to fight this one. If they're not set up for this dragon, you can just give this one over, right?
Yeah, you can give this over. Like, you're behind in towers. You really need that rift here and break mid. The others are low enough. That would be my play. I would trade this dragon for rift. I don't know about starting
come out though from Contingent. They're gonna deny the Herald take. But the side of Dorado, they do retreat in time. It's going to be Baywa actually has to flash away, and it's going to be the Scion flashing directly on his face. The Wild Growth, though, keeps the Jinx safe for now. Alternative on the front line, goes into the pool. This has the flash to get back over the wall. And now again, it's Contingent Esports. Did they dive too deep? The Orb flashes away, but still goes down. Cherry with the Cyclo, not quite able to turn the fight around. And it's going to work out for Contingent. It's Fish flashing forward, takes down the Vladimir, shut down over to the Kled. And it's going to be Contingent Esports with a 3-for-1 team fight, and they solidify their advantage.
Yeah, Scion, Epitome just did so much work on that. Did go down to Jinx, got the reset, but then Jinx couldn't go through the passive fast enough to make the passive worthwhile, and another kill doesn't come through. You know, Scion passive doesn't reset the Jinx passive, so they got 0 value out of Baywa getting excited. Let them clean up the fight.
That's right, yeah. It was just... if the Jinx was able to stand and hit a little bit, or I guess the issue was that there was not another target. Cherry, good reaction there. Wow, actually, I think Cherry again reactively used the W to block the Chain of Corruption there. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, that was very quick fingers on Cherry tonight. The flash play of the clone.
Wukong does not have the ultimate right now. The Ornn does have his, so Peel's probably going to have to be the difference maker in this team fight.
Scion's still mid.
And Fish of Man is splitting towards the bottom half of this river as well. To Contingent trying to set up a pincer onto Dorado. The Dragon's getting burned down. Peel's going to let it rip with the ultimate. Finds the knock-up. Kawota, though, has the Yumi to stay safe. The Dragon does get taken down, so Soul Point goes over to Dorado. In comes Epitome on the flank, though. The Scion has that monster angle. Takes down Cherry. The Ornn is going to drop as well. And Contingent looking to continue the chase. Alternative doesn't have anything left. Baywa, just needs a little bit more onto Fish. The Zap's not going to land. The Kled is going to get away, and Baywa's not going to be so lucky. The arrow lands over the wall. It's going to be Source Walker's snips that finish the job. The side of Dorado, they get their third dragon, but at what cost?
Oh, we were singing Baywa's praises all night. Loses focus in that team fight. Ends up chasing the Kled out of all people. And Kled just lures him away from the entire team fight. That's your damage. All of your gold sitting on Baywa. And to get cleaned up on the backside, the fight was so awkward. Mocha goes back to secure the dragon on the Lulu.
Mocha, the main carry for the squad once again, it seems. But to be fair, for the side of Dorado, honestly, I feel like that fight was kind of cooked from the beginning. It was a monster flank angle from Epitome. He sort of arrived and one-shot the Wukong and the Ornn basically right at the start of that one. So I don't know, even if Baywa was there, I don't think the damage would have come out quickly enough to actually turn that one around for Dorado. Maybe it would have been okay if he was at least able to take down the Kled, but not able to get that either definitely feels pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, I think
for
they
the
hesitated
Dorado
too long. Like, they saw Epitome still on mid. They waited till Epitome already took mid tower, so then Epitome can join for free. He got what he wanted. And then they engaged.
Oh, now they want Peels, and I think they're going to get him. The Ornn does not have Flash, does have a Blast Cone. Get it? No, he can't get to the Blast Cone. Fish on a killing spree. 13-5 now on the scoreboard. 5,000 gold lead been opened up for Contingent Black, and they're on to the Otacon.
And this is, the Otacon damage on this Varus.
Yeah, be a little careful there. The cat is not attached to the Varus at the moment. A little bit interesting. I guess Panda feeling a little bit more at home on the Scissor Lady.
Yeah, 6-0.
Get this tier 1 for Dorado, and then we're going to get flanked by the Scion again. Cherry does go for the Cyclone to try to at least peel for the bottom lane, but I don't know if it's going to work out. Sourcewalker goes godlike. Baywa has a wild growth. The Jinx is getting out a ton of damage, and Baywa gets excited. Oh, Baywa kites it out. It's another kill. It's another shutdown for the Jinx, and Epitome and his kitty cat are not getting away. It's a triple kill for Baywa. It's a quadra kill for Baywa, and that just might be what Dorado needed to turn this game around.
Oh, Contingent's gonna lose so much for this. Probably an inhib at least. Baywa gets the fight he needed. The peel was wonderful by Cherry. The ult from Mocha could not have been done better. And they don't take the Scion first. So the passive doesn't work out the same way. That Get Excited comes through.
It's just like how we drew it up, right, Soul? It's exactly the way that we wanted to see Dorado play this game. Everybody peel for Baywa. And it worked out beautifully that time.
Yeah, get that first kill. And Baywa just cleans it up.
So now, I mean, that changes everything. The Jinx is on 3 items now. Ahead of Kuota's Varus.
Yeah.
Who did, looks like, go for a sort of VAP builds. A little bit of a hybrid build, mostly AP.
Yeah, it's the more poke or the more on hit version of the AP build, which makes some sense. You're still having to go through an Ornn and a Vladimir. So there's a bit of a tank with, especially with a Lulu ult. So I don't disagree with it.
Well, one thing that the side of Contingent are gonna have to figure out is what they're gonna do about this dragon spawning. That may be where this game is decided. You know, there's still some scaling to do, honestly, for the side of Dorado. We've got an unstoppable onslaught happening in the mid lane right now. It's only going to find a clone. Scion ultimate down 30 seconds before the objective. Oh, feels like maybe Contingent are starting to panic a bit.
Yeah, that seemed a bit risky to go for that play. Cherry smartly blocks it. But boy, if they lose this dragon, I don't know how they win. Yeah, we see the Desperation Death Bush come out.
Alternative is going to be able to go into the pool here, but Vladimir's still in an awkward position. Dodges away from the Chain of Corruption, flashes out to safety. Let's keep our eyes on Baywa in this fight. The Jinx able to stay safe for now. The Wukong clone soaking up a little bit of damage. Control over the river for Contingent. They're going to start up this dragon immediately. Mocha is having some connection issues, which is very awkward timing. Oh, they're going to go for the bush again. Oh, Cherry very heads up on the Warrior Trickstar once again. Dives in with the Cyclone. Baywa is able to hit for now. The first kill goes over. The Jinx is excited for the Scion. Zombie is going to push Baywa out of the fight for now. Alternative going to get taken down by Sourcewalker. It's a double kill for the Gwen.
Jinx ult is
and
up.
It is a 2-for-1 overall in favor of Contingent. Whose ult is up?
Baywa's. The Jinx ult, Mega Death Rocket, they're so low.
Oh.
That's
Ooh,
2 kills.
Try to use it for a Dragon Steel as well. Are they going to be able to get Vision of the Pit, perhaps? It's the teleport back in for the Kled. Harry's not up for 5 more seconds. There's no smite for Dorado. They're probably just going to have to give this up.
Yeah, I think they give it. They didn't know they won that fight and just didn't know it.
Surely Baywa goes for the steal here. Not going to come out.
Nah, it's going to go ahead and hold it. Wow, what a fight. They actually won it and didn't know.
Very close.
Epitome does his job, though, very, very well.
Exactly.
Just stayed on the Jinx, just like the team fight before Baywa got the Quadra, and was just able to zone Jinx off enough to the passive went off.
That's right. It is all about Baywa with this composition. I mean, alternative, you know, maybe later on in the game can be a secondary threat, but the Vladimir's just not quite strong enough yet to really be a significant threat in these fights. It's not been a great game for alternative, unfortunately. 0-3 right now on the Vladimir.
Yeah, it was
fought out at the start of that last fight as well.
Really there to kind of delay the Scion and stop the big snowball from happening, and did very well. You know, is up in the CS. But Vlad's going to take a lot more time to come on. Probably at least another 10 to 15 minutes before Vladimir becomes a serious threat in this game.
Yeah, I think he needs that third item. As we can see, he doesn't even have any pieces of it just yet.
So we will continue with the Baywa Kawota show.
Alternative getting picked on here in the side lane. Does have his jungler here to try and peel. The Cyclone does come out from Cherry. Alternative staying alive for now. Has the empowered Q as well. But Sourcewalker with the needles. Oh, just snips Cherry into pieces. And Alternative with the pool's not going to save him. It's another double kill for the Gwen. Kawota now trying to stand ahead, but Baywa able to take him down. And now the Kitty Cat. Oh, the last rocket doesn't quite come through. So make a death rocket though, and the Forge God. Oh, we're going bowling, and that's a strike for Peels. Fish now trying to get away, trying desperately to remount onto Scarl. It's gonna be Disciple. Also connects onto the Jinx, and it's the Scion and the Kled, the Charge Brothers. They take down the enemy bot lane, and now it's only the Ornn left. Peels can't do anything, and it's going to be the solo lanes of Contingent Black complete the fight. 5 for 3 overall. Absolute slobber knocker of a team fight.
That was absolutely insane to watching how that played out. Just the out of position alternative gets picked, Cherry saves it for a moment, the damage gets turned around, and then Quota out of nowhere in the jungle to try and help runs into Baywa and Mocha and just gets obliterated by the Jinx.
Yeah, how did Quota even get over there? I don't know what happened there, but yeah, he definitely was not near. I mean, he was near his cat, obviously, but that's not enough people around for the Varus.
And then there's a win. The fight's over. The fight has won. They overcommit. They chase the one-hit Kled for that kill, and get punished by Scion.
Yeah, Epitome. You know, he was obviously our POG for game number 2, and the Scion play in this one as well. Very, very nice.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a different game. Has been a bit more of a struggle. But that play may have just saved this game. They have the gold lead after that.
That's big. Yeah, they do still have to contend with the possibility of the Hextech Soul. That is the main win condition right now for Dorado. Baron alive on the map now as well. These macro decisions start to get a lot more difficult.
Yeah, Epitome just sitting on a pink ward for a moment. May not have realized for a moment that it was like beside him.
Trying to plan his next journey, and he wasn't quite looking underneath his feet. We can maybe get that cleared out eventually. And there are some wards we can see kind of sprinkled around for Dorado in their own blue side jungle, just to make sure that they can approach that South River. Sourcewalker, level 16 now on the Gwen, does also have that 3-item spike. Full item ahead of Cherry's Wukong right now. This Gwen is monstrously fed. Even has the Elixir of Sorcery running right now as well.
Yeah, and 2
levels.
levels.
Is crazy strong, yeah.
And is keeping the cat. No cat for Quota this game.
That's right. Yeah, an interesting decision. We'll have to see. I mean, the Gwen does have 11 kills. Cherry goes in now with the Cyclone. Kawota has already had to flash away. Sourcewalker, though, it's going to be Kawota who gets that last hit onto Cherry. So the side of Contingent win out. It was Cherry who started the fight, but it was Cherry who ends up going down. Meanwhile, Epitome taking an inhibitor turret.
Yeah, that didn't quite work out. They didn't have enough burst to finish off Quota, and Sourcewalker's damage was just too much to get that reset for Baywa.
Yeah.
And I don't know that this goes better.
Oh, we're gonna stop. Oh my god. Oh, that poor little Lulu. Oh, Epitome just ran into her and she just exploded. The Scion is also going to get taken down, but he gets the inhibitor in the process. The Hextech Soul gets denied again. And this game is starting to feel pretty difficult for Dorado. I mean, their comp does still scale, but the last couple of sequences have been all Contingent.
Yeah, it's been some rough decision making. They're trying to force picks that I don't think Dorado needs to be forcing. You know, trying to sneak out this pick on Quota didn't work out. Ends up costing them a tower and an inhibitor and the dragon.
Yeah, just kind of getting pulled apart on the map right there. Definitely pretty well played, I think, by Contingent Black to realize what they could get in that moment. And it was Epitome again on the Scion, doing a lot of that. The side lane has got to teleport in now from Epitome into the Baron Pit, and they're burning it so fast. I mean, Gwen just snips right through this thing, doesn't she? They one-shot the Nash, and now their gold leads up to 5K. Feeling really good now, our Contingent in this one.
Yeah, they're going to have to sit here and turtle now for Dorado to have a shot at this. This game just got incredibly more difficult. Their one saving grace is Dragon's not up for another 3 minutes. Almost 4 minutes. You know, Baron will fall off by that point. But how much of their base do they have left if they can manage not to take a team fight and get wiped?
Alternative is about 600 gold away from death cap right now. Did just hit level 16 on the Vladimir, so he's getting there. Once he gets that death cap, he'll be strong, but it might be too late at this point. I mean, you said it. How much of their base can they defend? They already lost that one inhibitor to the Scion split push before you even had Baron, and look at where Epitome is now, pushing down that top side. Side of Dorado, they're going to move up. They're going to have to send multiple members, though, to deal with this Scion. And the Kled and Gwen are moving over as well. At least Dorado, they clear out the minion wave. They're able to move back into mid now. The side of Contingent, they don't quite have these waves synced up. It's allowing Dorado to defend their last couple of inhibitors.
Yeah, Dorado doing a really good job with the turtle here. Yeah, flipping the members back and forth between the lanes. We are going to see Scion take this bot lane with the pressure from the super creeps, but not quite
Meanwhile,
synced
Fish.
yet.
It's a 1-3-1 now. So what Contingent is going for is Fish still in the top lane and mid lane not defended. That's going to be the mid tier 3 down. Epitome back with the rest of the team, looking for this mid inhibitor, not quite able to get it just yet.
Yeah, like it's okay to lose towers. You'd prefer not to lose inhibs at this point, but can't really take the team fight unless you're sure you're gonna win it.
Contingent playing this very patiently. They're not forcing. They're letting the minions do the work. Here comes the Scion ultimate. Now the force comes through. No turret to stop him in the mid lane here. Doesn't quite manage to connect on anybody, and Epitome gets taken down right at the start. Zombie not really able to do that much. Just barely is going to be able to get that top lane tier 3 turret down. So a little bit of a free kill over to Dorado there, but the base is now completely open.
Yeah, you donate another kill over to Jinx for the tower. I don't know that you needed to. I think you had it with the slow push. You had enough time still left on the Baron. I don't know that that play was needed, but we'll have to see if that burns him at all.
Yeah, I mean, you are playing Scion, right? You need to get a little bit of int out there. So, as we all know, the best Scion player in the world, of course. You need some good deaths mixed in there.
Gotta run it here and there.
1 minute now on the Dragon, and this is going to be critical.
Yeah, they cannot death push. Baywa leading the charge. That's
Chain
concerning.
of Corruption going to land onto Cherry. Those managed to get away.
That's a
Everybody
big
except
ult
Lulu
used.
does have their ornaments now. I mean, this is about as strong as Dorado are going to get. They've made it to the late game, but is it going to work out?
Yeah, you're right. Death cap is in for Vlad. This would be the time to fight while Chains of
Here comes
Corruption's
Kled.
not here.
Peel's doing a great job of soaking up that Kled engagement. The other charger. Oh, it's going to be the clone, though. Soaks up the Scion ultimate, and now Cherry trying to re-engage with the cycle, and the Ornn ultimate is massive. They take down Sourcewalker, and look at Baywa just fire. Pew, 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 pew. Takes everybody down. It's going to be a massive team fight win for Dorado Kai. They were pushed to the brink. They did not fall, and now they will take the win.
Yeah, the fight goes a little backwards. Fisherman gets too far ahead of the Scion, ends up giving over that first kill for the Jinx reset, and then the Scion dies second, which allows Jinx just to go full bore on the backline, free resets, and they clean up the team fight. From behind win. Still down in gold.
So crazy. Still down in gold as the Nexus explodes. And Yumi still winless in the LXC.
So close. So
So
close.
close. Almost had it.
Oh.
Just a few more lives for the cat. And maybe
Good
it would've
sir,
worked.
did you see that damage chart for Beiwa?
I'm about to see it in just a... Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. That is, you know, people tend to talk about 1,000 damage per minute being a pretty good benchmark. How about 2,000 damage per minute? Pretty good. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's something. Oh my.
And that was, I think we saw, I don't know how much of that damage came from that last team fight, but, you know, the fact that the initial engage didn't get onto the Jinx was critical, right? The fact that the Ornn soaked up the Kled charge, and the Wukong soaked up the Scion charge, and Beiwa just was able to stay safe that entire time, that entire fight. No, there was nobody threatening the Jinx.
Yeah, I mean, what a fight, what a comeback. Like they started having control, and then it was like Dorado figured out exactly how to play the team fights. It was such a narrow keyhole that Contingent had to play of the Scion had to go in first. You had to zombie on the Jinx to let that passive expire while she dealt with the Scion passive. Twice they messed up that team fight. Only twice this entire game, but the last one cost them the game.
That's how it is in League of Legends, right? Mistakes you make at the end of the game are more impactful. And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about in the draft as well, right? So the fact that we felt like the composition for the side of Contingent was a little bit more difficult to execute, right? And I think that's what we ended up seeing in the end.
Yeah, and I wanted to get some first-hand stuff, and I've invited Beiwa here as the bot lane to join us, and yeah, get some insights on that back and forth power in the bot lane. Take it away, crew.
Beiwa, how did it feel to do 2,000 damage per minute in that game?
Yeah, it was nice. My jungler just stood in front of every Scion ult.
She sure did.
Frontlining, I just got to right click.
Yeah, and you right clicked real good. So credit there. We did see you. Let's see, what were you on in game number 1?
Mel.
It's still the draft here. I can pull out. Oh, the Mel. That's right. You played the Mel a couple of times last week as well. Or I guess I should say earlier this week. In your last match, you also played the Mel. So maybe just we could start there. Talk to us a little bit about the Mel APC. How strong do you feel like the pick is, really?
I don't want to give away any secrets, but...
Oh, don't say too much.
Some people say it's completely horrible. We think it's pretty strong, so there's that.
Yeah. It looked pretty strong. That's for
strong.
sure.
It's a pretty good champ.
Yeah. But it is interesting. I definitely feel like you're right. Opinions are pretty divided on how strong the character actually is. But you definitely made it look pretty busted. So good stuff there. So did you want to get in there for any questions as well, or is this all me?
Kind of walk me through, if you will. I'm not trying to bring up any PTSD. That game 2, you come off that huge Mel game. Games 2 really plagued with a whole bunch of DCs, and the game is also flipped on its head. Kawada just massive on that Varus. Kind of that mental on the team, and then you guys come back here. It's that same AP Varus, and you guys are able to come behind. Can you just walk me through a little bit of that?
So I think everyone was pretty tilted since everyone kept DCing, and our top was on like 200 ping or something. And our support was also lagging, and their mid was also lagging, so it was just a shit show overall. But
I was also lagging.
yeah, we were we were low-key checked out, but then game 3 came around, and like, you know, this game has been circled on our calendars, you know, because we used to play for Contingent. So there's that. So it's kind of some beef going on. Well, the players played great. Nothing against the players. It's just unfortunate that they'll probably have to fill out a Google form after this series. Yeah.
No, I mean that's always a thing, right? Is you want to have a good showing against your old squad. You know, we see that in pro as well. Obviously, you know, players when they get dumped from a team, they always have a lot to say about that revenge meeting against the old squad. So glad for you guys that you were able to pick up the win here in this matchup. And then in game number 3, to move over here, you know, obviously you guys had a pretty healthy lead early on. You know, were able to stack up a lot of these dragons. You were on Hextech Soul Point quite early on in this one. But there definitely were some fights that got away from you. You know, the Scion was starting to prove to be a little bit annoying again. You know, even doing some work in the side lane. You took your bot lane inhibitor. Things were starting to look a little bit dire, even right up until that last team fight. So maybe just walk us through, you know, your own thoughts in this game, you know, from being in a really good position to things looking a little bit dicey and then coming back right at the very end.
Yeah, so I completely entered that one fight near Top River, near Baron. I just walked into the Scion ult because I was so tunneled. But besides that, I mean, in draft, I was like, we were kind of over it. I was just like, block Lulu Jinx. And then we planned on playing full vegan mode. And they locked in Yuumi, so that worked out for us.
Yeah.
So we just got the skill, and I mean, Jinx resets on their front line is pretty broken, so.
Yeah, I guess you mentioned the Yuumi. That's actually something else that I'd really like to ask you about. You know, our friend Soulkeeper here actually happens to be a little bit of a Yuumi enjoyer, believe it or not. But, you know, I was not as enthused to see the Yuumi locked in again. What are your thoughts? You know, you were just kind of briefly mentioning already that you feel like it ended up working out pretty well for you going against the Yuumi in this one.
I feel bad for their ADC because when, so he's good. He plays with a lot of big dick energy, as I like to say. And when you lock in Yuumi with that kind of ADC, it's kind of unfortunate. So I don't know why they locked in Yuumi twice.
And the Yuumi didn't even stay on Varus either. It jumped over to the Gwen halfway through the game.
Maybe it was like a Yuumi Gwen angle for them. That's
maybe
what they were
it was.
thinking, but yeah, I don't know.
So you want to get in there again?
Yeah, I got one big one for you. So bit of history, and I'm sure Baywa remembers this here. Last split in Warden. So the team you all eliminated round 1 of playoffs, Akuma. If you recall that there in play-ons, you were all expected to lose that one. Akuma was one of the top seeds. You all came in, smashed him, and boom, Akuma got sent home from playoffs. You guys go on to win. You are now tied for first in Sector 1 with Akuma. The team you will face, the team you will face in Week 8 as your last game. Any thoughts on that one with that kind of revenge matchup? There is that history between the two teams, and the players y'all know each other as well.
Thoughts? I mean, I'm looking forward to it, I guess. I kind of blocked last split out from my memory.
Why is that? You won. What would you not want to remember about that?
I don't know. I just, during the split, I just got so bored of League. But then, yeah, I don't know. I was kind of autopiloting, B1ing Ashe every game.
So you're not bored of League this time around, I take it? Unsure? Not clear at this time?
Unsure.
Okay.
All right.
You know, playing games with my team is fun, so.
So who wins? Who's taking first seed then?
Who's taking first seed? I mean, you saw what happened last split, so.
There we go. There's some of this. All right. Cherry has rubbed off on you a little bit. Good enough.
Yeah, I guess that's the last thing that I wanted to ask you about, actually, Baywise. Did you see any of the Top Hat Lounge that we did this past weekend? Did you watch the podcast at all?
I have not.
Well, I guess you're probably aware, at least, that your jungler was on the podcast this past weekend.
She's our resident trash talker.
Yeah. She
speaks on
absolutely
behalf of
got
all
in
of
there,
us.
did some yapping. It was fantastic. But she the main thing that I wanted to ask you about is Cherry actually did have some praise towards the contingent black bottom lane. You know, there was a lot of not praise that happened for a lot of other players, but she actually did mention Kawoda and Panda specifically as being a couple players that she recognizes that have been playing for a long time. She feels like are pretty good strategically. So you know, and you were kind of just mentioning a little bit earlier as well. You feel like Kawoda is a pretty good player. That you definitely, you know, you said you felt bad for him in this game having to play alongside of Yumi. So did you have any feelings about, you know, that matchup in particular of you against Kawoda, and any thoughts on, you know, I guess your opponents tonight, just more generally?
Yeah, so last split, I think we played against Koda as well. He was on the team that got rule booked and then lost all their games. I think. Yeah, I said last split that he was the only good ADC in the league. So I'm glad to see he's back, I guess.
Absolutely.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, and so far, dodging out on those comp rules, at least Kawoda is. There's a lot of those flying around right now, but doing okay for now. So you got anything else?
No, just shout out to Cherry with the Yumi hate in chat. Still love you, Cherry.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Baywa, your shout outs, please. Any words you have for the stream?
I'd like to thank my jungler for playing like a dog that last game. It was necessary for the win, so appreciate her. And everyone in the match today for dealing with all those DCs and shit. That was horrible.
Yeah. And
Shout out
props to all
Beers
you
and
guys.
Cats as well. Yep.
Absolutely. Props to all you guys for sticking with it. That is definitely tough to deal with, all the pauses. But Baywa, thank you very much for taking the time to stop by for this interview after picking up that 2-1 victory. Congratulations as well on your win.
Thank you.
I think that's going to pretty much do it for us tonight, Soul. You have any final words from yourself there, Mr. Soulkeeper? Any words that you have for the stream?
I can't wait to see the Top Hat Lounge coming live Sunday. It is going to be spicy after everything that's happened this week.
Do we already know who the guests are going to be for this next weekend?
I don't think I have that list ready to go public just yet. So stay tuned.
Regardless, I'm sure that is going to be a fun episode, no doubt about it. But that is going to do it, guys, for week number 6. Week number 6 in the books. Only 2 weeks left now of the regular season before we do get into playoffs. So not a lot of time left for these teams as they make their last minute push, the end of the season push to get as high up in the standings as possible. Be sure to tune in for Top Hat Lounge on Sunday, guys. And then, of course, we'll have week 7 kicking off with the Arbor League playoffs Monday night. Be sure to tune in for that as well. From us here at the LXC, for myself, Soul, everybody, thank you very, very much for watching. We will see you next time. Have a great night.